All right. Good morning. Uh, I'm gonna get started with office hours. I just need a minute because could barely sleep last night. Supposed to go on a date last night. Supposed to be cool. It'll still chill. Montauk is always fucking chill. Chill vibe, everything like that. Yeah, this fucking chick never fucking showed up. I think it was probably a catfish or some shit, or either she was got shy and bailed out or some shit, or um, who knows, Tinder and shit like that. Half the time it's dudes pretending to be chicks. So, uh, yeah, Tinder has horrible filters, man. It doesn't filter out people. Like, it just easy bullshit, false hope, and everything like that, just so you can fork over more money. So, Tinder's fucking trash. Whoever that girl Anisha is, honey bunches of fuck, fucking trash. But on the bright side, literally as soon as I walked in, I literally saw, like, I have to say, like, I don't even feel like I'm exaggerating here because I was literally thinking about it. I'm like, I feel like she's probably the, if not one of the most beautiful girls I've ever seen. Like, as soon as I walked in, just like totally like took me aback. I'm like, oh damn. I'm like, am I not taking you on a date? Like, I want to be on a date with you. Like, she was like a girl with blonde hair, just blue eyes, like piercing blue eyes, and it's like she looked at me and I was like, oh my god, I was like, dude, this girl is like drop dead gorgeous, total smoke show. I gotta go back and get her. Like she seems genuine, like she seems sweet, like she was like smiling and everything like that. And I don't even know while I was eating dinner, I felt like I saw her looking over a few times. I want to ask her out, but I also don't want to be like that fucking loser that like got fucking stood up and like comes at her because I don't know. I don't want her thinking like I'm like she's like a second choice or something like that. That I'm choosing her just because I got stood up by somebody else, or I'm trying to get like a sympathy vote or some shit. I don't know. Trying to approach it the right way, but goddamn, I want to lock this girl down. You get her Instagram. If anybody knows the hostess at the Montauk, blonde hair, I think it was blue eyes. I don't know. I just remember seeing her face and like I got that locked in. Like you don't forget a face like that. Ooh, all right. Anyway, I'm running off of fumes here, and I feel like shit. So I'm gonna take some time to watch some news. Office hours are still gonna be open. This is like another reason I kind of changed. There's a lot of reasons I did this, but switched over my computer to face this way just so I can do other stuff too, and still have kind of extend the office hours too, so that way I can do other things and not feel like I'm just completely abandoning the camera, but just basically just always doing stuff, but having the office hours open. So that way, if anybody has any comments or questions or input or anything like that, I am open ears and open eyes and able to see that. And so, just trying to increase the amount of connection I have with people. And so, trying to make myself available to the American public. So, I'm here. I'm available. Feel free to message, contribute any of your ideas, or even offer ideas. I'm more than happy to kind of go back and forth. And I guess what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to collaborate with engineers and people. It's just can't seem to find them anywhere. I know they're out there, but they're busy working for their companies. And people I try to talk to, it doesn't really seem like there's a lot of people really open to talking about much of anything. So I'm gonna try to be the example and be open and transparent and try to open the door for communication. Trying to share ideas, trying to get the conglomerate going, trying to get the coalescence going, trying to use those essentially to one, make the world a better place, but I don't want to throw out a bunch of cliches. I want to oh, I want to actually genuinely make a significant difference. And we have to figure out how to make that tangible, how to make that real, how to get out into the world and make the world a genuine better place. But I need people's help. I need your help, and I can't do this shit on my own, man. Because I'm just pumping out idea after idea after idea after idea, and like I'm pumping out ideas faster than I can record them, type them, and especially build them. I need to be I need to be like managing or something. I need to be in a position up here where I can basically delegate different tasks and recognize resources and different assets and being able to coordinate them and being able to kind of direct people and guide people on where to go and what's needed. And so that way we can get that's a tiny fraction of what's actually in here. An addition, an additional, but by comparison, it's small. It's like point something percent. It's like um 1,641 notes. Okay, so yeah, we need to yeah, and then even at least 3 or 4 of those have been transferred back to Word just to be able to consolidate pictures. And then also kind of has a double purpose where it helps save data too. Oh, then moving over to Word. It's up here. Um, I'm gonna go watch some news. I need to clear my head. Like I said, I'm not really functioning at 100% right now. Feeling shitty and tired. We got to do work though, so I know what my obligation is. I have an obligation, a responsibility to the people, and so I need to constantly be working. So I'm gonna take my laptop, go over there. I'm just gonna kind of try to, you know, I'm gonna keep on doing stuff, but like I said, this is a different view or a different way of doing it. I'm just gonna have it at a different angle so that way office hours can be open. So feel free to communicate, and I will be here. I will always be here for you. Got it. I know what it feels like to not have people be there for you. So I don't feel like people should experience that pain. And so I vow to always be there for other people, even though they're not there for me. Not like them, I am better. I know that just because people treat me unfairly and cruelly and neglect me and ostracize me and want to slap on labels on me that aren't true or yada 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 yada. Oh, I don't want to go on a whole rant, but yeah, no, I'm not going to stoop down to that level. I'm going to be basically an example of what people should be, and I'm going to do my best to do that. I'm going to show the world exactly what it should be. Educate people, bring people together, and to find peace with one another, to accept one another, and develop their bonds so that way they can essentially learn to love each other, ideally unconditionally, so that way people can always look out for each other, be there for each other, care for each other. The world seems to be missing a lot of that. Oh, it's because of all the other things, all the other distractions that we have, technology, or I don't know. I don't want to sound like some old grump like grandpa. It's like, oh, the technology's running old. Like, no, I'm completely opposite. Like, technology's good. It just has some bad effects. And like, say for example, like having people distracted, or like especially with women, like, oh, they have all these options, and so like you can't afford to slip up, like, or you can't afford to not be absolutely perfect as a guy. Otherwise, they switch up on you and find somebody new and leave you in the dust. And anyway, again, we're not allowing it to make us bitter or resentful. We are using this information to help us realize that there's a problem that needs to be fixed. These are just problems that need to be fixed. And I'm like, Bob the Builder over here, can we fix it? Yes, we can. We will. I'm gonna fucking die trying. All right. Join me, resist me, or whatever. But I'm gonna do what I need to do. I'm on a mission, no matter what. Or trash bag filled last like 5 times a day. There we go. Yeah, I know you can't still can't see me over there. This is still an improvement. And you're not gonna be able to see me from here. Anyways, that's see, I can work over here. And then I can keep on checking on the comments. If anybody contributes, it's just I'm sorry, I'm not trying to lose faith in people, but just haven't had any viewers or anything like that. find some way to connect with people, man. Nobody's trying to reach out to the American public and trying to reach out to the world, but they can help, and there's nobody either. Try to use social media, no likes and shares, anything. I've created at least probably like 50 or so different. I know there's like by now I think there's at least 60 or some different pages for different businesses active right now that are creating. I still need to create more, but none of them really have any traffic. So I need to figure out how to market better, man. I literally took a marketing class and it didn't seem to help for shit. 'Cause, selling my ideas if literally nobody's buying. So it's fucked. So I have to do the right thing. I have to be able to change the world for the better. Keep trying or die trying. That is my obligation. That is my cross to bear. Trying to convince the world that I'm worth listening to. Like, hey man, I got a lot of answers here for you. Nobody seems to want to listen. Everybody seems distracted by other people. There you go. Something. Oh, right.
Good. Welcome in. Your whistle box. The time is 55. Marketing has so will stand for 4:55. West Coast. My name is Cameron Espresso, and I'll be here with you for the next several hours as we continue stories and find the minutes across the country and culture. A big thank you to my colleague of Leverage. He has been here with you doing the same for the past. Right now, here's taking a look over the spreader. Much activity. Just a few weeks ago, the things appear to be moving ever so slowly through the spring here. As we get the latest on the U.S. on conflict, I'll pop this up on your screen right here, coming in central command, as they say, that they speak by the Iranian state media that are focused in controlling of the spring. CENTCOM posting this on social media. It says, claim. Social media claims that transit through the Strait of Hormuz is only permitted against does not control the Strait of Hormuz since early May. U.S. forces have helped stop 18 successful transit of more than 800 commercial vessels, 300 million barrels of international. Now, there's also the other developments that are in the newsroom here, and as we follow them, let's take a look right here from the Wall Street Journal. As they say, Israel has shared new intelligence with the U.S. that it said indicated a Russian-Iranian plan to kill President Trump. People familiar with that are telling the Wall Street Journal about that, and of course, mark an escalation in the war between the U.S. Again, there is always a lot to discuss.
If they do that, I'll be like, all right, we're good. Cheers. Call it time. If we killed your guy, you killed our guy. I'm like, all right. Something decent.
Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us.
You're welcome, Josh. Thanks for having me today.
So not like that. But a life for a life.
You about this is rarely
This guy's taking one of their life. Killing all their shit. You kill other people. Then girls going to that's being done. So Trump killed a lot of people. So pretty much pretty something.
So that's when pretty much all of this
He killed her. They killed him.
this thing's been
Want to take a life? You need to give your life. Perfectly okay with me.
so he basically exported terrorism or also targeted so what we see is here how to kill the president, President Trump,
since that time. And there have been reviews. And I think what you're seeing develop now is a continuation, but a relief emphasis based on the rule of God. Now, Israel, do an intelligence. Israel.
Flood. I remember Trump literally yesterday, or his something yesterday, where you're talking about like Iran being scum and that. Like everything he's saying, he's basically just what do you call it in psychology when you portray your own negative faults and everything on somebody else? He's basically taking everything that's wrong with him and trying to put that on Iran. So that way, one, he's blaming them and turning people against them. But two, he's also making it kind of implying that he doesn't do that, and that they do that, and that he's not scum, and that they're scum. When realistically, he's the one that's fucking fascist. So serial killers going around murdering people just as like they're a fucking generation in the bush. It's fucking comments. Yeah, Rand, do whatever you want. I'm gonna shut up. Anyway.
There's excellent access inside Iran, even to this day. So the Mossad's working there, they're getting information. They
Again, I do not advocate
for the United States, and the United States is located in also. So those are key points that we need to bring out in evaluating this threat to the president as a continuation, but as a renewed emphasis to take out the president. If we recall, he was at the NATO summit. Turkey doesn't have the best border security. So the small team could easily infiltrate Turkey, bring some shoulder fire exams. It's easy to smuggle through the mountain passes out there. And it's yet to go. That's why you saw the president take out the original airport, fly out the original Air Force One earlier this week. It's got better defensive mechanisms than all. Suffice to say, more security getting out there.
Comments, no views. All right.
We safe and the threat can be taken off the table. Iran sees more assets it has here in the United States to continue this threat.
As you said, you're on U.S. soil. You know that we have all of that security and Secret Service, other agencies that are watching him constantly. But again, there have been several assassination attempts against him, not necessarily saying that Iran was behind those, but also important to note. Now, I want to talk about this spring about this coming in from sources there telling the New York Post. So essentially what I'm gathering from this is that Israel, they've said that if the U.S. requests any kind of backup here, they are ready to go back to war.
Israel always maintains a war footing, especially with the threats from Iran. And Iran is an existential threat to Israel, so that they have the plans, they have the professional military capability to be able to conduct those plans on very short notice. I'm sure that in last night's conversation between Netanyahu and President Trump, that this was part of that conversation. But if I go a little bit deeper, we have to realize that Israel and the United States have a close military and intelligence partnership. You know, I used to travel there several times.
I think people will think of the Bible as being good, so let's go ahead and do something where I feel like I'm doing something that people will think is good. So let's go. All right, we're on page 19 of the Dogmatic Constitution on Divine Revelation. I already know I got that right, so I'll need to check again. Page 19, section 25. The reading of sacred scripture is recommended. Therefore, all clerics, especially the priests of Christ, and others such as deacons and catechists who are legitimately active in the ministry of the word, must hold fast to the sacred scriptures through constant spiritual reading and diligent study. This is to be done so that none of them will become an empty preacher of the word of God outwardly, who is not a listener to it inwardly. Since they must share the abundant riches of the divine word with the faithful entrusted to them, especially in the sacred liturgy, The Sacred Synod also earnestly and insistently urges that all Christian faithful, especially religious, to learn by frequent reading of the divine scriptures the excellent knowledge of Jesus Christ. For ignorance of the scriptures is ignorance of Christ. Therefore, they should willingly put themselves in touch with the sacred text itself, whether it be through the sacred liturgy, rich in the divine words, or through devotional reading, or through the instructions suitable for the purpose and other aids that in our time, with approval and active support of the shepherds of the church, are commendably spread everywhere. And let them remember that prayer should accompany the reading of sacred scripture, so that God and human beings may talk together. For we speak to him, and we speak to him when we pray. We hear him when we read the divine sayings. It is the duty of sacred bishops who have the apostolic teaching to give the faithful entrusted to them suitable instruction in the right use of the divine books, especially the New Testament, and above all Gospels. This can be done through translations of the sacred texts that are provided with necessary and really adequate explanations, so that the children of the church may safely and profitably become familiar with the sacred scriptures and be steeped in their spirit. I like that word. It's good metaphor, analogy. You got the like steeping, like a tea bag, and it's then like spreads the tea, and you immerse it into the water, and you steep it, and like slowly starts to dissipate. It's a good word. It's a really good word. Anyway, furthermore, editions of the sacred scriptures provided with suitable footnotes should be prepared also for the use of non-Christians and adapted to their situations. Both pastors of souls and Christians generally should see the wise distribution of these in one way or another. And I'll just go ahead and do number 26 too. It's a short one. The fruits of increased veneration of the Word of God. In this way, therefore, through the reading and the study of the sacred books, the Word of God may spread rapidly and be glorified, and the treasure of revelation entrusted to the church may more and more fill people's hearts, just as the life of the church is strengthened through more frequent celebration of the Eucharistic mystery. Similarly, we may hope for a new stimulus for the life of the Spirit from increased reverence for the Word of God, which endures forever. Okay. Moving on to next part, learning about your Bible. Let's go ahead and keep track of sections here. Reading of scriptures recommended. The fruits of increased veneration of the Word of God. The fruits increased veneration of the Word of God. All right. Yeah. Oh, here. Sorry. I'm trying to make like a mental note to myself to try to like put on like a positive show and everything like that, and try to stay positive and try to like, stay confident and really have energy when it comes to doing this and making these videos. Because I know even though nobody's watching now, there's gonna be people later that are watching once we get these things going, and I'm gonna need these to be as useful as possible. And I need these. I don't know. I just don't want to like just be like tired or like say just reading like blah 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 blah. It's like I'm gonna try to actually put more emphasis in it, so that way I kind of have more passion and stuff. So trying to stay motivated, man, trying to stay on mission and trying to do the right thing. So trying to make sure I'm always doing the right things and communicating with the people the way I need to be, the way I should be. So we're doing the right things and we're on the right path. We just need to figure out how to reach out to people. So nobody seems to listen or want to listen or know how to listen, or maybe just they don't know how to find me. People can't read minds. They don't know everything that's going on in my head, and they don't know everything that I want to do. And so they're just, I don't want to call them blind or ignorant, but they just don't know. I mean, ignorance is, I guess, the definition of that is they don't know any better. So, like, they don't. I wish they did, and I wish there was a way for me to. There needs to be a way for me to convince them. Like, like, if I could let everybody read their mind and they'll know that, yeah, like I'm doing the right thing and we're on the right path. And like, dude, I feel like everybody would be right behind me. Like, I would have so much support. I would literally have an army of people behind me or beside me. That's what I want beside me. We work with others, not for others. Yeah, dude, I feel it's weird. It's weird because I feel like I should have millions, billions of people, just a parade of people behind me, just like enthusiastically supporting me. But like I said, we can't read each other's minds, and you guys don't know what's going on in my head and everything that I'm wanting to do. Want to help so much, but people will have a really bad habit of mislabeling me and seeing me as something I'm not and failing to see me for who I truly am. And it's just really, really disappointing, but I'm not trying to get bitter and get angry at them or retaliate at them just simply for not knowing any better. I'm trying to inform you, and I'm trying to educate you, and I'm trying to guide you, and I'm trying to work with you. I'm trying my best over here. So please, if you can, help me. So help me to help you. Yeah. Together we can create a better world, but that's not going to happen if nobody's willing to listen. So I'll keep doing my part. I'm playing my role, fulfilling my mission, and doing the best I can to have that significant positive impact. And so no matter what, I'm going to be over here doing my best. I just hope and pray that everybody else, or at least enough people, anybody, like really, like just 10 people, 20 people, and like that will spread out like to others. We can share this message. We can share everything going on. I know right now I'm doing a lot of office hours and work and everything like that, but I also have other things that I need to say and other things that I need to do, other messages that need to be spread. And I feel like there should be a lot more traffic here. Like, this is a zero number. I almost have like, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist here or anything like that, but I have a feeling that maybe someone out there in the government is aware of the changes I'm trying to make and everything that I'm trying to do and all this good that I'm trying to do. And like some greedy, like malicious person out there, like some group or whatever, doesn't like desperately wants to cling onto their power and doesn't want me like taking away their power and making things equitable and actually better for the world. They just want to help their little group or maintain their power at the expense of everybody else. And I'm like, I have a feeling like there's got to be somebody or something or some force out there that's preventing me from getting views, preventing me from getting likes. I don't know, whatever this little monkey with the hammer thing is over here. Or even charging me with this like bullshit fucking charge over here saying that I was like drinking and driving. But dude, I haven't fucking driven for over 5 or 6 years. I'm like, it's literally impossible. And you guys are over here just fucking like, there's something going on. I feel like there, and even from relationships, any girl I try to talk to, like I don't get responses. I'm like, they either like ghost me or whatever. I'm like, dude, there has to be some force, something going on that's preventing me from doing what I need to do and trying to one, be happy. Just like something as simple as just being happy. I'm like, something out there is trying to prevent me from doing that. And then there's another, just trying to be productive. Like there's something, someone, like I don't want to sound fucking paranoid. I feel like I sound crazy saying it, but I'm like, I'm so convinced. Like, dude, I've improved. Like I look at myself in the mirror, I'm proud of what I see. I'm so fucking proud of what I see. And I feel like it's just so disappointing that nobody else can see it. Like I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. I don't want to blame people or get mad at people. So I don't know, like I feel like it's not even them. Like I feel like there are people that genuinely like are able to like be smart enough to be like, yeah, like this guy's worth being around. I want to be around them, but then I feel like at the same time, there's like possibly like this other force, like I don't know, something. I feel like I sound extra conspiracy theorist saying this, but like CIA, FBI, or somebody in the government, or I don't know, whatever is like trying to inhibit me or trying to prevent me from being happy or being in a relationship, or I don't know, like because maybe that will like lead to me having kids and then having kids that'll like teach all this, teach everything to. And I don't know. I feel like there's somebody or something just essentially trying to get in the way. And I feel like I sound paranoid and I feel like I sound crazy, but I've gotten to that extent where I just simply cannot understand why like people aren't more supportive, that why I'm not surrounded by a lot of friends, I'm not surrounded by like a lot of business colleagues and peers, and why I'm not as successful as I should be in everything that I'm trying to do. Because I feel like there's something out there, something, someone, some group that's trying to intervene and prevent me from doing what I need to do. And that is completely unacceptable. And regardless of them, despite them, I'm going to do what I need to do no matter who gets in my way. So that is a promise I'm making. I have my mission to bring peace to this world and to unite everyone and to preserve and to proliferate all of intelligent civilization into perpetuity. Anybody gets in the way of that, I'm not going to have any mercy. I mean, I'll try to, but at the same time, your punishments, like I said, will be appropriate. We're never going to go overboard. No jail time or prison time, because stuff like that is, God damn, if you're attacking me in this way, like I feel like even that's not prison or jail time, but there has to be some sort of significant penalty, or we find an alternative to prevent this from ever happening again to anyone, to prevent whatever force that is operating against me to stand in my way, like or anybody's ways. Where when people are trying to do the right thing, like say you got me over here, who's genuinely trying to do the right thing wholeheartedly, and then you have like say the U.S. government, law enforcement, or like whatever departments or whatever people, managers or top people that you have that are coordinating something that are preventing me from doing what I need to do, that needs to go. We need to find a way to prevent that from happening again, from preventing the US government from getting to this point ever again, where it's just promoting fascism and hate and dividing the United States of America. We're not the United States, we're the divided states, and it's very, very noticeable. Some political leaders, some sort of, I'm trying to figure the fuck out. It's like, this is insane how, like, just, I'm not getting through to anybody. I can't fucking reach out to anybody. I'm like, nobody's fucking listening. And I feel like people aren't that dumb, man. People aren't that ignorant. Like, there are people out there who are smart enough to realize, like, look at me and what I'm doing, and like there should be support. There should be genuine support. And that's why I'm like, I've gotten to the point where like there has to be something else operating here. There has to be some sort of either individual like hacker or government entity that's like put blockages on or blocks on like say YouTube or something like that. Where it's making me feel like I'm reaching out to the world and like talking to my people, but they got like blocks on it. So like it's basically just me talking into the ether and nobody's actually listening because they don't want me reaching out to people and they don't want me sharing the message to the people that they need to hear, that we all need to spread among each other. Get to a point where we can be peaceful with each other, collaborate, coexist with each other in the most productive way possible. But I have a very strong feeling that there's people in power right now that desperately want to cling onto their power, be greedy, and lie, cheat, steal, and impose their will on others at the expense of others. And I gotta find that out. I gotta find answers, man. I feel like it'd be like a plot of a movie where like, yeah, you eventually find out like I'm on the Truman Show and I'm like everything's being televised and like all it is just a fucking reality TV show where none of it really fucking matters. Or I don't know, maybe that could be like another movie where like, yeah, it's like The Silo or like the show The Silo where they're keeping people in prison trying to warp the reality and say that things are like a certain way when they're actually not. It's simply some, I don't know if it's some rogue entity or if it's some like government sanctioned entity or like government endorsed entity that's just trying to stop me from doing what I need to do. Like I said, I don't want to sound paranoid. I feel like I'm crazy when I say that because I don't have like proof other than the fact that literally I have all this stuff that is really worth listening to, really worth seeing, and really worth being exposed to, really worth at least a very fucking comment, just something like, hey, like what's that? What are you doing? Like, what's that idea you have? Or like, hey, I remember you were working on this, and that's why I'm even adding it in the notes too. Like, you don't even have to watch the video like to get it. I'm like, I'm putting it right there. You know everything I'm up to. Not angry, just very, 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 very disappointed and well aware that the world needs to change significantly. And whoever the fuck is in my way, get the fuck out of my way. Because I'm definitely coming after you. Like your day of reckoning will come, like, because this is completely unacceptable. Whoever the fuck is trying to stop me from one, just being happy and seeing anybody, or like I don't know who the fuck is like talking to these people, like telling them like, hey, don't go on a date with this guy, and then boom, they just like no show. Like they don't show up or like they just stop talking or whatever. Like I feel like there has to be somebody saying something that's or even just straight up hacking to my accounts, like severing the connections. Like when I have like a connection with somebody, they're like just cutting it off or like blocking me from it or whatever. Like there has to be more going on. Like I know I'm doing the right thing. I know I'm still making tons and tons of progress and I'm doing the right things every single day, day in and day out. Yeah, whoever's trying to stop me from doing what I need to do, I'm fucking coming for your ass. So you better watch the fuck out. And then, yeah, on top of that, I feel like it has to be like some sort of law enforcement or some government or politician or some sort of like one of their, what do you call them? Henchmen, not henchmen, but like one of their cohorts. There we go. Somebody being paid off or whatever. Fucking no views, no likes, no shares on fucking anything, man. Like, so fucking weird. And weird enough to the point where it's like there has to be something going on. There's something else going on here. Like, this isn't normal. Like, I know what I'm doing, and I know like the quality of what I do. And there's absolutely no reason. And I know like the quality of who I am, and there's no reason that I should just be this detached from the world. I'm trying my best to reach out. I'm trying my best to get out and talk to people and like, dude, this is the best way I can talk to the whole entire world here. And there's not a single person watching. We're still trying to figure out better answers. We're gonna find a way. We're gonna get this shit right, man. We're gonna save the fucking world. Despite whoever the fuck or whatever the fuck is trying to get in the way. I know there's something. All right. So goddamn frustrating. Really have the most like well thought out mission. I have like so many fucking plans here. And like you're talking about literally zero support. That's fucking horseshit. Like there has to be at least like fucking, I don't know, dude. If my ideas are actually even getting out there, there has to be somebody that's like, oh yeah, dude, like yeah, that's good, or anything, but nothing. There's something off about that shit. Fuck is getting away with this, whatever hacker, whatever. I don't want to sound like a fucking conspiracy theorist. I'm fucking crazy to say throwing out these allegations without like enough proof to like you need fucking evidence, man. You need proof. Let's start collecting. See what we got.
We don't want you to attack and create an unnecessary escalation. When we're ready to go bigger, we, I think that's part of working together, allowing Israel to further develop their plans, but see what the United States is doing. Along with sharing that intelligence and some other plans out there. So Israel's ready to go. Should the United States take this up an escalation level?
And I'm gonna pop this up once again, coming in from U.S. Central Command, because I want to get your take on it. State media claims that transit through the Strait of Hormuz is fully permitted through routes designated by Iran. And the truth, CENTCOM says, Iran does not control the Strait of Hormuz. Since early May, U.S. forces have helped facilitate the successful transit of more than 800 commercial vessels and 380 million barrels of crude oil through the vital international trade port. So who really does at this point control the Strait of Hormuz? Does anyone control?
That's a great question, Josh. And what I'm going to say is control is in the eye of the beholder. So when I start to look at this, Iran has militarized the Strait of Hormuz, and they created for them a strategic weapon to use against the United States and the West. So when we look at this, the fact that we're seeing trafficking from your graphic, you can see very little traffic is actually moving through. Even from a high of about 40 vessels a day in the last few weeks down to just a trickle that are working their way through. Iran's demanding that you have to use the northern Iranian routes, and the United States kept shipping through the southern routes that are located along the coast of Oman. So when you look at that, you can really see that while I don't like the use of the word control because it kind of seeds the fact that we're allowing Iran to have control or saying that they can control. But the fact is, the threats from Iran are stopping the commercial shipping or slowing it drastically because one, their insurance companies don't want to pay those prices. Two, the shipping companies don't want to put their ships in peril. So we're really seeing a de facto slowdown and control by Iran of shipping going through the straits. I know what CENTCOM's saying, but the fact is we're just not seeing the traffic go through there.
Right now you're looking at a poll because we always want to hear from you at home or wherever you're watching this. And the question we're asking about this is what should be the top priority for the U.S. amid the Iran there? If you want to sound off, just scan that QR code top right inside the screens at livenowfox.com/connect, and your options here are protect U.S. forces, pursue diplomacy, or protect and pursue terrorism. Of course, there are other possibilities as well, but those may be the top. So if you do a second, scan that QR code top right-hand side of your screen, or go to livenowfox.com/connect and be vote now. Mark, what do you think is going to be the answer? I have to imagine that many people want to make sure that the U.S. forces are protected.
Absolutely, Josh. That's you have some good points in your poll there. So what I would say is, yes, we have to protect U.S. forces. That's true. But we need to protect them. So not just for defensive operations, but to take out the threats there.
Oh my god, hilarious! Yeah, you got this is like my Wilson, like Tom Hanks in Castaway, man. So deprived of communication with people that I just feel the need to talk to people. I need to socialize. I need to get my message out to the world. This is the only way I know how. You guys are my Wilson. I say you guys, there's literally nobody watching. Computer, You're my Wilson. You're all I got, Wilson. You're all I got. We're gonna do it together.
Is there. One thing I want to add, I've been in 2 wars in the Middle East. I'm a strong believer in diplomacy. We need to pursue diplomacy as we work our way through this process. But we must realize that while we're pursuing it, Iran is being disingenuous in how it's negotiating. Iran has never made a deal that they follow through. So while we can pursue it, we at least need to have a partner who's willing to be in honest and sincere negotiations. And we don't have that with Iran. So we can continue that, but it's really going to fall on deaf ears as we work our way through that. Our allies, we do need some allied support. I hope that, and hope's not a plan, but our NATO allies, especially when we look at UK, we look at France, they have some shipping capabilities that can come out and help in the Strait of Hormuz. They need to come because they are benefiting from what we're doing in the Strait by getting the shipping going through there, getting the oil flowing, but also by taking out the Iranian threat that's been a major problem for 47 years. So we are looking at that. And the side effect goes into the global energy. Because what we're doing through 20% of the traffic and the globe's oil capability going through there, we can look at that has a significant effect on that. So, the United States is interconnected through the globe, and we have to realize that there is some benefit through that global energy, but we need some allies to come in and help with that. But I would definitely protect U.S. forces at the top, but protect them through strong offensive operations.
And these are some interesting results because I would have thought that protect U.S. forces would be number one, but fairly close by would be pursue diplomacy.
Yep.
Talking about a potential deal here. And if those talks are apparently getting back underway and the strikes appear at least to have been paused for now, that is actually in last place right now with 4%. Work with allies 6% and protect local energy 15%. If you do want to vote, just stand
That's kinda sad, dude. Lowest
we will continue, of course, to share. One down from funds over the next one. So
very primal.
The same level of attention improving with the U.S. and Iran. So where do they stand? If you look at Israel and Hezbollah and the connection.
Right.
It's not. It's a small.
Changes are coming. I matter who or what goes to get my rating, I will.
First and foremost, let's remember that Hezbollah is the number one proxy for Iran. Hezbollah does 90% of Iran's bidding against Israel and also against the United States. And there's been a bloody history of Hezbollah dating back to the 1980s with attacks on U.S. personnel, Green Barracks bombings. So you can go back to all of what Hezbollah has done, responsible for killing hundreds, Hezbollah alone, hundreds of U.S. military and civilian personnel. So you can look at that aspect of that. What they're doing, Hezbollah has continued to attack northern Israel. Actually, they have rockets and missiles that can range farther into Israel. And Israel has set up this buffer zone because there is no one who has had the ability to go into southern Lebanon and clear Hezbollah out of there. And Israel's acting, they're using the offense for defensive purposes out there to create this buffer zone and remove Hezbollah out of the south and protect Israeli citizens in the northern part of Israel. So that's been working throughout the background. Hezbollah has said they're not part of this ceasefire. They don't agree to the ceasefire against Israel, and they're going to continue to attack. And they've been having small attacks against Israel. So you have to look at Hezbollah's intent. Iran's trying to link them in and trying to take away the offensive advantage of Israel or the defensive advantage of Israel to protect its own citizens against Hezbollah strikes. I think we kind of pushed back on that a little bit now. The Trump administration has changed its tone by one, trying to work with Lebanon to get Israel, to get Hezbollah to stop, but also to say, Israel, yes, you have a right to defend yourself. And they're delinking what happens with Hezbollah and Israel from the main Iran agreement. Iran's going to try to loop that back in there. They're going to try to say there's ceasefire violations. That's just not true because Hezbollah is not agreeing to it in the first place. So that's going to have to stay foremost for Israel for their self-defense purposes.
We also know that now that President Trump has been over to Turkey there, we know that he's back home, and it sounds as though Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is going to be traveling to the U.S. to meet with President Trump so they can come face to face and have talks.
Notes here. I'm trying to keep you guys informed and let you know what I'm working on doing. So got a note here about the transfer over to the laptop for editing and revision and for storage from June 29th, Monday. Sometimes you have to live in their shoes to truly understand the pain, fear, shame, loneliness, and desperation they are burdened with. We must fully immerse ourselves into their perspective. For me, one example is inmates in prison. God bless me with enlightenment, the ability to see things others are unable or unwilling to see, such as the atrocities being committed by human beings against fellow human beings, because people don't understand the severity of the potential long-term systematic consequences of the underlying and emergent properties of the limitations of restrictions and guidelines or protocols established by the United States government. Likely designed with good intentions, I understand. However, despite human efforts to deliver human justice, we're all human and too human to see the full scope of any given situation, and are thus incapable of ever implementing true justice when considering the fact that most of the solutions humans create to things end up exacerbating overall suffering throughout the entire planet's population, creating far worse problems down the road that others, such as progeny and future generations, will be forced to endure and overcome because they seek effective and efficient solutions. Because that seems, everybody, humans naturally seek effective and efficient solutions, so that applies to everyone involved. But that seems to be the extent of their cognitive ability. They do what they are programmed to do by their genes in tandem with environmental influences, and I don't blame them for that. But since we have an ability to influence each other, I'm invoking the environmental correlation concept to emphasize that we are agents of change for others and that others are agents of change for us. Considering this, I feel an obligation, an almost involuntary impulse to help resolve these dilemmas, which are most often unintentionally created and provide a real, recognizable, and tangible sense of equitability and restoration and justice for all through diligent reformation efforts. And then basically all the noise that you see, whether it be like superfluous, or basically whether people are supporting you or against you, anything that goes against your purpose or your mission, essentially all this for so basically if it's not like a legitimate message, so like you got somebody who's got like listen to people when they have like legitimate messages, but at the same time when it comes to people that are just like kissing ass or something, like on like trying to just win you over but like trying to get something out of you, or I don't know, anything that I don't know, I'm trying to remember like the F1 movie, like because this is kind of the idea where I picked this specific part from, is the movie F1 with Brad Pitt and the other guy. His nickname was Swan in the movie, or because he told Brad Pitt's character Swan first. But Yeah. Brad Pitt's character turned around and started calling him Swan and stuff because he's like he learned the new word, whatever. But yeah, it's basically they're talking about how like they have to stay focused on their job, their role, and do their job to the best of their abilities. So whether it be naysayers or whether it be even their supporters that are just like cheering them on and everything like that, or wanting them to do certain things, but it deviates them from completing their actual goal or the actual mission and doing their job to the best of their ability. Essentially, it's all just noise, meaningless static. It doesn't benefit you to ruminate over it. It only serves as a distraction that deviates you from your personal purpose in life. They're playing the roles they are meant to, and so are you. It is up to you to filter out the noise and to realize when their mission should coincide with yours and when it should be explicitly delineated so no time and energy is wasted on your part getting involved in something that doesn't necessitate your fleeting attention, let alone your focus. So, yeah, so obviously we prioritize things, and when it's a legitimate message, when it comes from people that have experience or wisdom or influence and everything like that, it's more of a priority. But when it's just like meaningless praise or meaningless criticism, like that part, like especially the ends of that spectrum is it's important to consider that it's like I said, just all meaningless static. It's all just filler. Like you can hone in and focus on every single comment you get on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or whatever. Me, I got none. I don't have any comments to focus on. Nobody's contributing here anyway. I'm the only one contributing here. So it's all right. We'll get followers. We'll convince people to join. It's just right now, maybe I just got to work on my marketing too. So one, I need to work on my marketing and I keep on doing that, but also I'm well aware that there's probably someone or something going on. I don't know if it's the government. I don't know. I don't know who it is. I don't know who the fuck is hacking into my shit, preventing me from getting views or likes or shares or anything like that, or even preventing me from somebody telling women like, I don't know if they're saying don't go on dates with them or they're issuing threats to these women that are trying to go on dates with me or something. And it's like scaring them off, or like I don't know if a hacker's going into them and immediately blocking or going in and sending fake messages and I don't know, causing issues that way. I feel like there's some sort of something else going on there. There's some sort of malicious intent and some sort of force preventing me from being one, happy, and two, just successful and productive. Something's trying to prevent me from doing the right thing, and that is wrong. And whoever is responsible for that, yeah, we're coming. Nothing's gonna stop me. I'm here. I'm always gonna do the right thing, no matter what. I hope that is clearly understood. Nothing's getting in my way. Oh, so frustrating. So, it's just hard, man. It's not easy, but it is meaningful. And so we do it because it is our duty. It's not because we want to. I mean, I want to help the world and I want to do what's best for it, but it is my responsibility, my obligation, my duty to everyone, the people of the world, not only America, but everyone. Everyone around the world is my obligation and my duty to you to make sure that we move forward together and that we are able to innovate. I say collaborate and communicate all the time. Like I need to come up with different words for that, but I mean, essentially that's what it is. We need to come together and seek diplomatic resolutions and seek progress in a productive way that maximizes benefits for everyone and minimizes costs or minimizes the negative impacts. God, I'm tired. All right, doesn't matter. We have to stay on mission. I have a job to do, man. I have a job to do, and I cannot stop. The world needs my help. I'm gonna be there for you no matter what. Like, you guys aren't there for me, but that's okay. I forgive you. I'm always gonna be there for you. Somebody's gotta help me. Somebody's gotta help me out here. I promise to treat you better than you treat me. Oh, Dell. I'm gonna call you Dell Wilson. You're gonna be Dell Wilson Webb. I feel like I make myself sound like a psychopath saying shit like that. I'm well aware that this is an actual thing or whatever, but it's just some way of communicating, letting thoughts out of my mind, turning them to the words, and I don't know, either venting or, just being able to process thoughts from a different angle, hearing them out loud rather than just having them bounce around and run over and over and over and over and over and over and over again in my head. Just bottling shit up and feeling like I'm going fucking insane just sitting here by myself and doing everything in my life by my fucking self all fucking time. All right, sorry. We're good. We're good. Hakuna Matata. What does that mean? Means no worries. And how long? For the rest of your days. Hakuna Matata. We're good. We're good. I cannot afford not to be good, because if we're not good, then we can't do what we need to do. So you need to keep staying focused and keep on making sure that I am always on mission and always doing the right thing. And so people, you guys got to help me out here. You guys got to help me out. Just open your eyes, open your ears, and listen. That's simply all I ask. Just no views, no likes, no nothing. Just nothing. Like, no feedback. It's okay. We're just getting started. We're still working on everything. We're still, like I said, I'm still going to be doing my part, no matter what anybody else does or whoever wants to try to get in the way. Like, I'm going to continue to do my part and fulfill my obligation and fulfill my duties, no matter what. I can promise that to the people. There's no reason people should be resisting this. There should be genuine support, and I just don't understand why there isn't. Other than the fact that I need to market better, and that whoever the hell's out there trying to stop me from doing what I need to do needs to stop immediately and get the hell out of the way. Because we're trying to do the right things here, and we're trying to make the world a much, 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 much better place. And there has to be true justice out here. There has to be genuine change and reform that really benefits people. Instead of always power hungry people just desperately clinging on to power, making other people suffer as a result. Trump, for example. There's a lot of politicians, not just him, man. He has a whole entire administration of people. Like, there are thousands, if not millions, of people that are playing a role in this. I mean, I would say millions because you got all law enforcement, that includes all officers, and so they're all complicit in these crimes. Crimes against humanity. Officers, American officers, and well, I mean, there's other officers around the world. Cops, authority figures. Yeah, just basically subjugating people and committing crimes against humanity every single day. American police officers are guilty of it day in and day out. Every fucking day. There are crimes against humanity being committed. People being subjugated to oppression because they want to endorse and enforce fascism. Fucking morons. Sorry, I forgive you. I want you working with me, and I want to work with you. I don't want to. Again, I forgive you for you know not what you do, and so I'm willing to work with you because you just, I don't know. some of you, a lot of you, I feel like most of you just don't know any better. And so you're trying to put food on the table, you're trying to put a roof over people's head, take care of your children if you have any, and you're trying to provide, and you're doing it kind of out of necessity, but others are doing it because they're like on this power trip and they want more power. They want to be able to have authority over the people. Fuck you, you should not be in there. I get you the fuck out. So I think we need to do like psych evaluations on everybody. So especially if you're a law enforcement officer, like you can't be one of the people that just want to wear that badge because you want to be able to have power over the other people. I feel like that's probably at least like, I don't know, probably good fourth or fifth, either 20 to 25% of the entire police force is those types of people, if not more. I feel like I'm being very lenient in that number. I feel like they don't join because they genuinely want to do good. They want power or they want money. And then like if they weren't paid for it, like obviously there's like you wouldn't they would a lot of them wouldn't be volunteering for it. The only reason is because they get paid and because they have that badge and they take that power and they feel like they can impose it on other people and mistreat people. And that's literally what they do. So yeah, cops are not to be trusted. Yeah, they're if anybody's wearing a badge, don't fucking trust that motherfucker. They're not gonna treat you well. I mean, they're gonna put a smile on their face sometimes and like pretend to be nice, but when it really comes down to it, like if you do anything that they don't like or whatever, like they're gonna put you down. They're gonna take your face and stick you in the dirt and fucking yeah. Law enforcement and the judicial system is not to be trusted. Like, all this politically motivated shit, man. The only law enforcement I would trust more is one that's operates off of AI and drone technology. I do not trust humans to have authority over other humans like that. Not to that extent. We need to dial that back. Like, cops aren't the most educated. Like, I'm not the. I'm trying to just bash on you directly, but like, dude, they're not the most educated people, and so they're more like followers. Or like, I mean, this might sound like a derogatory analogy, but pawns, like pawns in the game of chess, like they're just doing whatever. But when people use the word pawn, like you're basically just doing whatever other people tell you to do, and that's essentially what cops are. Like they don't make the laws; they're literally just trying to get their paycheck and doing whatever they're told their job is, whether it's right or wrong. I feel like officers need to have more of a heart to realize what is genuinely right or wrong because they don't seem to. They don't seem to care. Like I'm just doing my job. I'm doing the right thing. No, the fuck you're not. No, the fuck you're not. Your duty is to protect and serve the American people, not to kill them, not to fucking arrest them needlessly or completely wrongfully. Your job is not to just intervene and fucking try to pry into every little situation and try to make yourself have influence over every little thing when realistically, like when you do try to exert that influence and you don't know what the fuck you're doing, you're gonna get shit wrong and you're gonna end up creating a lot more problems than what you're trying to solve. World requires reformation. Oh God, man. I know we're in this together. God, I know we're in this together. Help me. Help me find a way to communicate to them that we're doing the right things. I'd be like, I don't know, I feel like some leaders basically say that, oh, you need me or something. You're like, dude, like, but essentially, like, the way the world is going, like, you and I, God, we both know the world does need us. The world needs you, the world needs me, the world needs what we're doing here. Because whatever's going on in the world, the way politicians are running this country into the fucking ground. Sorry, part of my language, part of my French. Oh, God. But I know I can be open and honest with you. I don't need to filter myself around you. You know where I'm coming from. Yeah. It's here. We need to be able to find a way to convince them. We need evidence. We need arguments. We need proof. We need something substantial that can really get them to support our cause. We need to be able to market this better. We can't just do this assuming that they believe what we believe or see what we see or are enlightened to the facts and things that we've been enlightened to, that you've enlightened me to. Because the world needs our help so bad. It needs to open its eyes and it needs to open its ears. Help me to help them. You're pointing me in the right direction. And you're guiding me to do the things I need to do, to say the things I need to say. And because of us, this world will be a better place. No matter who gets in our way. We will help them, despite how much they hurt us. Save them. Save them all. Do the best we can. Amen. I feel like the amen was just for the prayer part for you guys. Like when I'm talking to God, he doesn't need me saying amen. He's always there. So he's always tuned in. We're not really radio silenced at all. We don't really hear from him, but I got an open mind to him. Again, I got an open mind to you guys too. Fully transparent. He's here to see pretty much almost everything. So trying to make myself available to the people.
This is one. Is that name?
Awesome.
To Biden specifically, since really the start of President Trump's second. So what I wanted to ask, what do you expect to come from that? Does that signal anything when you look at the fact that Netanyahu is traveling here yet again?
Well, I think that just reinforces the partnership between the United States and Israel and the personal relationship that President Trump has with Prime Minister Netanyahu. So that kind of reinforces that. You know that there's been reporting a couple of times during the fighting, starting back on February 28th, a couple of times where the United States has stopped fighting. There's been a lot of reports of tension between the president and the prime minister. I think this is just kind of re-engaging. There are going to be spats between leaders all the time. People have different opinions, different priorities as they work their way through. This is a positive development. But I think what we need to look at in the immediate term is the conversation, the cordial conversation and sharing of information in the phone call last night between Netanyahu and Trump. That kind of laid the groundwork. So if Netanyahu's trip has to be delayed, they're on a positive trend right now. They're seeing things, I'm not going to say 100% eye to eye, but truly aligning in what we need to do strategically against Iran to stop Iranian control of the Straits and Iranian persistent threat throughout the Middle East. So that I think is we're on a positive path right now, and the trip will just reinforce that.
So we have that poll up once again. What should be the top priority for the U.S.? So amid the Iran conflict, scan that QR code top right-hand side of your screen. Over to livenowfox.com/connect and hit that vote now tab. Cast your vote. You just got to click the one button there. Now, this updates in real time. And right now, 3/4 of you out there, 75% say the answer is protect U.S. forces. 5% for pursue diplomacy, 8% for work with allies, and 11% for protect energy. And you can vote, and we'll continue to show you these results as they come in here live, raw, and unfiltered, as we always do on Live Now Fox. Now, as I leave this up here, Mark, I was going to ask you about a series of unclaimed airstrikes that apparently they're on after the U.S. had said that it finished its attack. So there are questions here about who else is targeting the Islamic Republic, whether it was the U.S., exactly who was involved. So do we have an understanding at this point of who else could potentially be launching those strikes against Iran? Because, again, Iran has not only been striking U.S. kind of locations there, but also They were targeting Bahrain, Kuwait, and other places that do house those U.S. locations.
Well, the likely candidates for those unclaimed airstrikes obviously would be Israel. They have some precise capabilities that they can use against it. But what a lot of reporting didn't go into until well after it happened was what Saudi Arabia and UAE did against Iran. Because those states, they don't want to be too public about their attacks on Iran for fear of retribution, which is kind of odd when you look at the fact that Iran attacked them first. So you could see some localized attacks from Kuwait, or excuse me, from UAE or Saudi Arabia. They have the capability, they go across the across the Gulf and hit the coastal targets. So you could see some of those targets being taken out by them, or at least allowing them to get a little payback on Iran for the attacks they're doing. They're going to keep that in the background. They don't want that to come out, as I said, because they don't want more Iranian retaliation. And that's just the way the Arabs trying to work with Iran, or they worked with Iran since the Islamic regime came to power in 1979. So I think you're not going to see a lot of claim of those strikes for some time to come.
And of course, once again, taking a live look over the Strait of Hormuz, as you mentioned, there's a little bit of activity, but not a whole lot that's coming in from marine traffic. We've been checking that over the course of the conflict there between the U.S. and Iran since Operation Epic Fury began several months back. Of course, that joint effort between the U.S. and Israel. All right, Mark, the big question here, what are you going to be watching for over the next several hours, days, weeks? I always ask you, and I mean, we're watching all of this very close.
Well, that sums it up, Josh. We have to watch all of it. What I'm going to tell you is, we had 2 days of U.S. strikes, and we increased that pressure. The strikes were broad, and one important thing to note is we went deep into Iran this time and struck a key rail line. That rail line is what Iran was using throughout all the sanctions, throughout the blockade, to conduct trade and get resupply from Russia and China. And that was sending the message. Not only was it a strategic rail line that spans across Asia, it was also in between Tehran and where they were bearing the supreme leader. So that was messaging, and it was a strategic strike. So I think we can look at how the U.S. has the ability to go up what I would call an escalation ladder. In other words, we're doing a tit for tat, a retaliation against strikes against ships in the Hormuz, a striking moves. We're going up a level, and that is that strategic strike against the realm. We can go higher at that level and start striking into Tehran and go after the leadership, which until we reinitiate those type of offensive operations, Iran's not going to truly negotiate. You will see Iran come out because they're going to say, okay, we want to talk, and they're going to try to prolong this. So that's just another Iranian stalling tactic, but I would look for Iran to do that and create some momentum in those technical talks that are taking place. But that's not going to be sincere. They're just trying to delay the next round of strikes. So look for Iran to continue to try to control the Strait of Hormuz and limit shipping, and then look for the United States to escalate, to get serious and apply and regain that full military leverage against Iran with climbing up that escalation ladder.
Of course, we'll see how it all plays out here. We're watching it all very closely. Jim, thank you so much for being here with us and breaking down the developments there in the Middle East. The myth that's we're kind of highlighting here before I let you go.
Josh, I just want to say that while I'm talking about the United States escalating and coming up there, that is not without risk. And so your poll points out protecting U.S. citizens, U.S. service members. Yes, we need to, and I say we protect. A good defense is a strong offense in this case, so we need to have that. But Iran has a full measure of retaliation. When you look at that threat to the president, but they're going to go after more ships in the Strait of Hormuz. They're going to use drones against those U.S. military bases there. That's what they've been doing for the last couple of weeks in Bahrain, in Kuwait, and in Jordan. So we start to look at how they're going to attack. They're going to use the Houthis. I would be very careful with Iran expanding using the Houthis to go into the Bab al-Mandab Strait. We recall during the Israel-Hamas, the Houthis hit that, and they threatened 16% of the world shipping. So you got to look at how it still has its own way to retaliate and something we need to be prepared for and take defensive action against.
Jen there at Coastal Carolina University. And as always, thank you so much for being here with us. I'm sure we'll have you back soon to break down all the developments that happen between now and talk to you next. Thank you again.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it.
Arizona, we love opportunity.
And we believe opportunity is for everyone.
No matter where you start.
Or how far you want to go.
You can have the future you want.
When opportunity is real, we all win. Maricopa Community College. Opportunity for every Arizona.
Las Vegas isn't just a place you go. Las Vegas is a place where you let go.
Have you seen the average auto insurance rate in Arizona? It's crazy. I don't know how anyone can afford to live there. Arizonans are paying over $2,200 per year on average for full coverage auto insurance. That's nearly $190 a month. What blows my mind is drivers in Arizona could be getting full coverage for up to 80% less than they're paying now. And most people have no idea. If you're paying over $75 a month for insurance, I'll show you how to save. It's not just car insurance. Gas is up, groceries are up, cost of living in Arizona keeps climbing. Everything is getting more expensive. So when you're already getting squeezed on everything, why keep overpaying on a bill you can actually do something about? I work in personal finance. I've done this for over 20 years, helping real people manage their money. And the number one bill I see people overpay on every single month is their auto insurance. Not because they chose a bad plan. They're missing discounts they already qualify for and don't even know it. I kept seeing the same thing with every client. Discounts sitting right there waiting to be applied, and they have no idea. Safe driver discounts, homeowner discounts, multi-card discounts, all just going on the claim. Dozens of them, unattached. That's why I built my website. It finds every discount you qualify for so they can apply to your rate. Here's a quick test. Have you shopped around for car insurance in the last 6 months? I've asked every single one of my clients that same question. Every time, the answer is no. And every single one of them had unclaimed discounts just sitting there waiting to be claimed. Chances are, if you have to check in 6 months, you've got discounts going unclaimed right now too. One of my newer clients in Phoenix, Ryan, was paying $230 a month for just one car. He had a clean driving record the last 5 years, so I told him to try my website. His new rate came back at $68 a month for the same coverage because he qualified for the safe driver discount. He was overpaying over $160 every single month for years and had no clue it was even happening. And he's not special. Those who take 5 minutes to use my website are saving nearly $950 on average. That's exactly why I built this site. Recalculate your rate based on your Arizona zip code. The link is right below. It takes about 5 minutes. Enter your zip code and some vehicle info, and it shows what you qualify for. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Do you own your home? That's a major discount qualifier. Have more than one car? Even bigger savings. Are you currently insured? You're exactly who gets the best rates. If you check 2 or 3 of those boxes, you're what I call a golden profile. You see the biggest drops. My neighbor and her husband in Tucson were paying $360 a month for 2 cars. They ran their info through my site. Same coverage, dropped to $82 a month. That's over $3,300 a year. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Nice try, scammer, but that sounds too good to be true. But this isn't a gift. You're just comparing rates and making sure every discount you qualify for is applied to your bill. Every financial expert in the country will tell you to do this every 6 months. Most people are just too lazy. You really could get full coverage for as low as $30 a month. Drivers who switch are saving nearly $950 an average. Here's what people don't realize. Auto insurance rates change every quarter. What's available today could look different 3 months from now. Every month you go without checking is another month you're probably going to pay it. That's just math. I call people who never check their rate autopilot drivers, not bad drivers. Just people who signed up once and never look back. Don't be on autopilot, especially in Arizona where everything already costs too much. You've got better things to spend on. My site is completely free, no obligation, and is so easy to use it only takes about 5 minutes. Worst case, you find out you already have a great rate. Best case, you save big like tens of thousands of other drivers. If you live in an Arizona zip code, tap the link below this video. Enter your zip and see what you qualify for. I tell my own family the same thing. Just take 5 minutes and check. Tap the link below. Have you seen the average auto insurance rate in Arizona? It's crazy. I don't know how anyone can afford to live there. Arizonans are paying over $2,200 per year on average for full coverage auto insurance. That's nearly $190 a month. What blows my mind is drivers in Arizona could be getting full coverage for up to 80% less than they're paying now. And most people have no idea. If you're paying over $75 a month for car insurance, I'll show you how to save. It's not just car insurance. Gas is up, groceries are up. Cost of living in Arizona keeps climbing. Everything is getting more expensive. So when you're already getting squeezed on everything, why keep overpaying on a bill you can actually do something about? I work in personal finance. I've done this for over 20 years, helping real people manage their money. And the number one bill I see people overpay on every single month is their auto insurance. Not because they chose a bad plan. They're missing discounts they already qualify for and don't even know it. I kept seeing the same thing with every client. Discounts sitting right there waiting to be applied, and they have no idea. Safe driver discounts, homeowner discounts, multi-car discounts, all just going unclaimed. Dozens of them, untouched. That's why I built my website. It finds every discount you qualify for so they can apply to your rate. Here's a quick test. Have you shopped around for car insurance in the last 6 months? I've asked every single one of my clients that same question. Every time, the answer is no. And every single one of them had unclaimed discounts just sitting there waiting to be claimed. Chances are, if you haven't checked in 6 months, you've got discounts going unclaimed right now too. One of my newer clients in Phoenix, Ryan, was paying $230 a month for just one car. He had a clean driving record the last 5 years, so I told him to try my website. His new rate came back at $68 a month for the same coverage because he qualified for the safe driver discount. He was overpaying over $160 every single month for years and had no clue it was even happening. And he's not special. Those who take 5 minutes to use my website are saving nearly
Today discussed the indictment of 8 men who were charged in 2 conspiracies related to the plot to kill federal government officials and other.
Okay, yeah, again, that's gone too far. We don't kill people. We're trying to work with them, not, we don't take them out. It's short-sighted and people trying to seek immediate solutions to things that, yeah, lead to long-term consequences, and you create martyrs, and there's a lot of issues that come when you try to take people out. So that's not a good idea. Yes, do these politicians and corrupt leaders need to be dealt with? Yes, but not that way. That's going too far. Okay. Then again, I also don't trust the government either. I feel like they're going to spin this story to, I don't know, they're always going to make themselves seem like a good guy. They're definitely not. Everybody else out to be evil or whatever. It's going to get people thinking about these different groups, like black and white. Like, good or evil and stuff like that, and not really realizing that people are human, that they're capable of both. Short-sighted thinking. It's like this tunnel vision thinking, and people have a really bad habit of doing that, especially our political leaders and American leaders and people that are supposed to be running our country that are running it to the fucking ground. And so, yeah, I'm not too surprised when people get to this point where like, all right, yeah, we need to take you out. Obviously, like, we don't do that. That's not a good idea. I'm not going to support that or endorse that. It's not something we support. We support diplomacy. Violence is a dangerous tool only ever meant to be implemented as a absolute last resort contingency option if and only if all foreseeable and pragmatic diplomatic solutions have been considered, implemented, and or exhausted. Not all diplomatic and pragmatic solutions have been considered, implemented, and or exhausted, so it is not time for violence. And we're still always learning new things and still always considering new options and stuff like that. So essentially, it's implied that no, violence is not ever the solution. We still keep on seeking more solutions, keep on considering more options. We debate and have civilized discourse or civilized debate. We think about things in an open-minded way. We have mindful communication, and we try to genuinely see the whole picture, as much as the picture as we possibly can, instead of what this government and what the existing US government and what a lot of news stations do, or just slap labels on it and be like, that's good enough, without bothering to look super deeply into what's actually going on, or how to get everybody on the right level, how to make the tide raise all ships, you know? Metaphor or old saying. Is that a metaphor? Tide raising all ships? Something like that. Hey Google, what's the difference between a metaphor and an analogy? I feel like me asking that makes me sound stupid. Verify.
Story, fictional characters, and plot points to make a larger comparison across many pages.
Let's say
Purpose. Let's use metaphors at their most basic to make a direct comparison between two different things, ascribing a particular quality to the first. On the website atmospherepress.com, they say, both compare ideas, but in different ways, and picking the right one can make your writing stronger, clearer, and more memorable. Metaphors help readers feel an idea. Example, time is a thief. Short, vivid, and emotional. Analogies help readers understand an idea. On the website grammarly.com, they say, an analogy is a comparison between two different things to explain a concept by highlighting their similarity. Analogies are powerful tools used in writing to persuade, explain.
So very similar.
Her smile was like sunshine, brightening everyone's day, is an example of an analogy.
So a metaphor is saying something is like time is a thief, versus an analogy is saying time is like a thief. Saying time like something is like he's slow like a turtle. He's like a turtle or something like that. Or versus a metaphor is like this guy's a turtle. Yeah, so metaphors, I guess, more direct. You're saying it is the thing, kind of painting a picture of the idea and getting a more understanding of that. And then the analogy is saying something's like it to basically create a similarity or resemblance to another thing. Not saying it's the actual thing. Oh my God, I'm so tired. All right, I got another note about the transfer here. Human beings must not be entrusted with law enforcement. They cannot properly govern themselves. When they try to, it always fails, and it always results in vastly more injustices being carried out against the public than those which are prevented. Humans are too emotional, too attached, and too vengeful or detached and apathetic. Usually one ends of the spectrum, one or the other. And again, like the black and white thinking, they don't really compromise and meet in the middle here. They're usually like other side of the spectrums. Need to fix that, adjust it, correct that kind of diluted mentality that many people, especially what I notice in America, seem to have. So we're looking to modify that. So working with you, not trying to work against you, but working with you to help elevate you to a better level. So you work with me, I'm working with you. So let's work together and, you know, get this shit right. Humans are too emotional to either too attached and vengeful or too detached and apathetic, essentially too deficient in their ability to properly recall. Also, and blah, blah, blah. Humans are too emotional and then too deficient in their ability to properly recall or judge events, and too impulsive, in other words, retaliatory and reckless, concerned more with immediate results than long-term consequences. Some of the solutions here, obviously there's going to be more solutions here, but as well, but some of the things that we need to do are to defund police and law enforcement agencies until we can modify these rules, laws, regulations to make them better and improve them. And so that way we can ensure that they're not subjugating people needlessly and oppressing the public and for the interests of certain groups, like the rich and powerful, or I don't know. I hate to invoke race or something like that. People say like white or whatever, but like it's I think it's more just like people in power. Like you can be whatever color, I don't care. Like it's like you get a certain level of power and people tend to abuse that. So people need to be limited in the amount of power and influence that they have. So defund the police and law enforcement agencies, strip their funding essentially until they learn to manage their resources properly and until they can actually exert their authority in a truly justifiable or truly just way. So definitely need to defund the police and law enforcement agencies. They're abusing their power and oppressing people, and they do not they do not deserve resources. So they're not worthy of the badge. They're not worthy of having any authority over other people right now, because they're tyrants and they're kind of acting a little Nazi-ish right now. And so not trying to turn cops into the Gestapo or the SS. Like we should learn from our history, otherwise we're going to be doomed to repeat it. And so we just need to be aware of what's going on. And even though there's a lot of good things going on, we need to realize that there's also bad, and not just accept all the bad things going on, because there's like enough good things that you're like, oh, it's okay. And the bad doesn't affect you personally. And so like people are like, oh, not my problem. And just it doesn't seem like there's any sense of camaraderie in America. Like there's no sense of brotherhood or unity. Like people seem super individualistic and to themselves, and like basically just fuck anyone else. Who cares? Like it's not a good mentality. America's become detached from, I feel like, its original intentions. It was originally built and founded upon, and it's very detached from what God wants it to do. And what, I don't know, is just best for everyone, like humanity as a whole. America's very detached from, pragmatic ways of thinking. So it's not unsalvageable. There's no soul beyond salvation and no radicals beyond redemption. So no matter how bad it gets, and no matter how fucked up the mentality of the justice system, law enforcement, all the other, everybody else that's subject to it, American citizens, whoever, despite how distorted their mentality gets and how warped their messages, their narratives, and their actions become, like I said, no matter how bad it gets, no matter what, no matter how bad I'm personally mistreated, no matter how much I'm either ridiculed or mocked, or no matter how much I'm like just subjugated to like existing within a society that just is overbearing, overimposing, and there's all sorts of chaotic and messed up. Anyway, so defund the police and law enforcement agencies, fire or terminate all government employees, terminate as in fire, not, again, we do not harm anyone like that. That is not something I will ever advocate for. Like, that is not something we look for. So, yeah. It is a quick and simple solution, but it is a simple-minded and short-sighted solution as well. So only dumbasses are going to implement that. So if you think that killing someone or hurting someone physically and carrying out violence is the right way to solve an issue, then if anybody deserves to have that violence imposed upon them, it is the person that is trying to impose that violence in the first place. So yeah, I'm going to wholeheartedly disagree with you on that. And I'm going to look at you as a simpleton, a fucking ass backward savage that is primitive as fuck, completely uncivilized, and doesn't actually have the capacity to understand the full picture. So yeah, y'all can sit the fuck down and I'll take the reins. So like I said, just stay the hell out of my way. You can join me or stay out of the way. Just don't get in the way because you're gonna get ran the fuck over, and it's not gonna feel good. Because I'm doing what I need to do no matter what. I will fulfill my mission no matter what. All right, so fire all government employees that are hired as law enforcement or associated with law enforcement in the judicial system. This should no longer be a human role. Again, humans are way too flawed and way too subjective in their thinking. It is almost virtually impossible for a human not to be biased, like considering their emotions, and it's biological. It's like biological and psychological. It's in like biopsychology, even if you will, but it's ingrained in us, man. Like we have this tribalistic mentality. It's either us versus them, like a lot of black or white thinking, a lot of like trying to be effective and efficient, but basically having this not always like tunnel vision, but like, I mean, essentially limited view where you got blinders on. And so you try to come up with enough answers that tell you like, oh yeah, this is enough information to move forward. And then they just stop at that without still gathering more information to, you know, correct their course of action. So there's constant refinement needed. You can't just be like, oh, this is good enough. It's not. It's a lot of fucked up shit going on, and it's coming at the expense of a lot of people that don't deserve it. I hate the fact that I had to be involved in this, or that it had to come after me. Like this, is it politically motivated, or if it's just like simple government law enforcement incompetence that caused it. But either way, they fucking dragged me into this shit. And so, yeah, now the government made themselves a target for change. So, y'all wanted to be fucking stupid and poke the dragon, and the dragons be like, the fuck? Burn it all. I'm just kidding. Burn it all. Basically, just essentially this, you know. All right. Just basically realize like, all right, you guys are fucking up. I'm gonna take it from here. You guys have done way too much, and you guys need to set the fuck down. Go ahead, be the bench warmers. You guys can sit on the bench. I'll call you if I need to. I'm willing to work with you, like I said, if I need to, but you guys have done a lot of damage already, and you guys need to stay the hell out of the way. Like, you've done enough damage, and I'd prefer that you guys stay the hell out of the way and let me do what I need to do. Again, if you want to work with me, great. Just don't get in my way, because it's not going to be good for you. Yeah. We will address address everyone and all, what do you call it, movements, all efforts that resist justice and that resist true, genuine, positive change and peace for everyone, and efforts that resist us trying to mitigate suffering around the world and reduce violence and stop war and implement peace and genuinely, truly unite the people. anything like that will likely be met with a vengeance. That's fine. More like we'll address it appropriately. It'll be met with sufficient. It'll be met with appropriate force and appropriate. I can't think, man. I'm running off of fumes, man. I have no sleep. Can't sleep. Just have so much I need to do, and I'm just super confused as to why nothing seems to be going my way. So I promise I'm always going to do my best. I'm always going to keep on trying to help people, man. I'm doing the best I can here. I just need you guys trying to help me so we can work together. We need to work together. Can't be working against each other. All right, we got to defund the police and law enforcement agencies until they learn how to implement true justice. Until then, they are not worthy of their authority, and they should not have absolutely no legitimacy or power over anyone, whether it be their own people or whatever. Like, these aren't your fucking people. Like, we're not you, you're not us, and you guys are this complete separate detached entity that is not the American people. And yeah, we have nothing to do with you. Like, you are not us and we are not you, and you're this just imposing force that, like I said, a lot of them just trying to put food on the table or whatever. That's understandable, but once you realize that, dude, you're literally like fighting for fascism and enforcing borderline Nazism. Yeah, we're not sending people to like fucking Holocaust camps and gassing them out and shit, but we're still sending them to prisons. Like, it's still similar. Like, you're taking them away and you're basically sitting there dying inside every fucking day, not able to contribute positively, and the only thing you're doing is adding more negativity to the situation. Again, this is like for nonviolent crimes, you need to just let all fucking people out. Like people don't deserve to be there. Like, for violent crimes, yes, like you have to physically get people out of the way, otherwise they might pose a threat to themselves. That's different. But even then, like, ideally, you try to reform them. You try to have, you try to implement, you try to implement reformation, learning, guiding principles. Good. God, my brain's not thinking of words right now. My vocabulary feels like limited. Like, my thoughts are super scattered. I need to. I just can't get sleep, man. All right. I need to fire all government employees hired or associated with law enforcement. This must no longer be a human role, and replacement drones or AI robots. Okay. And even those, the drones, the AI, must be modified and refined over time. Those even will be corrected, but it will be substantially better. It will be significantly better than anything humans are capable of. Like, it's even the argument between like human drivers versus AI drivers. People are scared of like, oh, robot drivers. I'm like, dude, how many crashes do these like AI or robot, the Waymos and all these get into versus how many crashes do people get into fucking daily? If like you hear like every once in a while, it's like, oh, something happened with a Waymo. Like, every once in a great while. Imagine if the news were to report on every single car crash caused by humans. Dude, people would be like, oh, just by comparison, like there's probably like this many crashes. I'm sure anybody could look up the statistics. You're gonna see like this many like AI self-driving car crashes versus like say per day, per week, per month, or whatever, and then take that same timeline and then see how many human crashes there are. That's gonna be a like over here. There's literally no reason people should be still driving cars when we have this technology. It should become more ubiquitous, and they're yeah, like we're gonna come back. We're gonna have a day where people are looking back on it like, you morons used to drive yourselves. Like, you guys are fucking insane. Holy shit. Like, yeah, there's no reason with this technology that people should still be driving on their own. And just like this, there's also, considering what I know and considering what I've seen and what I'm trying to share, people should realize that there's no reason that human beings should be placed in positions of law enforcement or the judicial system, where they're able to basically have authority and basically sentence people to whatever judgments like they feel like they're it's yeah, humans have no business trying to like having this level of power over other people. And like, yeah, you can have some like kind of power differential, but like there shouldn't be that big of a gap. Like you shouldn't be able to dictate whether somebody like you take away like months or even years of their life away for something you like, disagree with, and realistically this person is like genuinely a good person. Like they did something that you personally disagreed with, which your system and your bullshit laws were wrong in the first place. And you're blaming this person for you getting your shit wrong over here in the first place. And then you're blaming this person for like just doing something you disagree with. And you claim is like bad or evil or blah, 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 blah. And like, dude, you can just fucking take it right up your ass and shut the fuck up. Because you guys are dumb as shit and you're doing way too fucking much. And I don't mean to sound offensive. I want to like have a level of respect and rapport with you, but Jesus Christ, you guys are pissing me the fuck off because you guys just are doing it so goddamn wrong. It is so like just dreadfully, just so atrociously wrong. Like the way you guys are going about law enforcement, and it's pitiful. It's honestly pitiful. Like America's like I don't know how anybody's proud of being an American, man. Like it's shameful. Like it's honestly it's depressing. It's like how fucked up this country is, man. It is extremely it's disheartening. Because you want to love people, you want to be able to help them. God grant me forgiveness and grant me mercy. So what I want to do, like, God damn, I feel so tempted just to wipe them off the face of the fucking earth so they can never pose a threat to anyone ever again. But that's just short-sighted and simple-minded solution. That's not what we do. We look for other options and we seek diplomacy. We seek genuine, long-term, substantial change. Always going to be willing to work with you, but I will never be willing to work for you. That is not a thing anybody should do. I think that's a mentality everybody should have. We can work with each other, but no one works for each other. Like we used to have slavery and masters. Now we've gotten to a point where people are working for each other. It's like this hierarchy and stuff like that. Like obviously when people like know more than each other, like you're gonna naturally like know like, oh yeah, this person knows more, but or like say if you have businesses where like you have a hierarchy of positions like a boss and everything like that. If you got bosses that are like, okay, just a little side note, if you got bosses like that are basically asserting their authorities, like I'm the boss, you have to do what I say because I'm the boss, and they can't explain like a legitimate reason or really like articulate themselves in a way that can explain why, then that's a horrible fucking boss and they should not be a boss. But like for other people who can genuinely explain themselves and reasoning and have open communication, then yeah, like really shouldn't be that much of an issue. But people have this damn thing ingrained in their minds of the biology that they want power, they need to seek power, and then when they have that power they need to impose it over other people because I got this power because I was doing the right things and you guys need to do what I do or what I agree with in order to blah 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 blah. And so they get this like weird like sense of righteousness or whatever and be like, oh, I know more and so I'm doing the right things because I have this power. Like no you don't, and you're doing a lot of the wrong shit, and I'm gonna be here to correct it. So I got you, America. I got you, world. Like fuck America. I got the whole entire world, man. Like fuck just America. That's one tiny little aspect of the world, and it's very misguided at the moment, but set people on the right course. God damn, I can't sleep. Ugh. I know that everything I'm saying is, like it's not the way I want to say it. So I'm just tired of shit. I can't think straight, but essentially the gist of the message is, I mean, still, yeah, it's still legitimate. Still, you get what I'm saying. I don't feel like it should be that hard to interpret what I'm trying to say at all. So I've said it, put it pretty clearly. I know it's not exactly the right words I was looking for, but I've said it pretty damn clearly. So yeah, it should be easy to read. So just need some research. I'm not getting mad, I'm getting even. Side note, OnlyFan hoes are to sponsored Instagram influencer chicks as slutty amateur stripper bitches are to professional ballet dancers. So it's basically equating OnlyFans chicks and Instagram influencers. So can't be an Instagram influencer, so you become an OnlyFans girl, and you can't become a professional ballet dancer, so instead you become a stripper. So that's basically like what OnlyFans girls are, and it's like they couldn't get influence on Instagram, or like they couldn't become popular this other way, so they resorted to stripping and taking their clothes off, be like, give me attention, give me money, give me, like, make me feel important. And it's it's fucking laughable. It's funny. I mean, I don't give a shit. I'm like, dude, if you want to take your clothes off, take your clothes off. I don't give a shit. Like, that's fine. It's just when you feel proud of yourself for doing that and you feel like you're accomplished in any way. It's very sad but funny. All right. So we gotta look up. So forgive our trespassers. Forgiveness, man. Forgiveness. Mercy. I'm all about it, man. It doesn't change the fact that there needs to be change. Change is mandatory. However, in implementing that change, we will be merciful and just and make sure that maximum benefits are achieved at minimum cost. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. I really hope heaven's a lot cooler than what people say it is. 'Cause like apparently like heaven's just like sitting there like doing nothing, like worshiping or something like that. I need to read more of the Bible to see what like the Bible says heaven's like. Because like from what I hear from church, I'm like heaven sounds boring, man. There's nothing to do up there. Like there's no parties, there's no like fun. There's no like I don't know, like it's all the cool shit. Like if you go to heaven and you're still like limited in what you can do, like there's still like restrictions on freedoms, like that. What the fuck kind of heaven is that? Like, be able to do whatever the hell I want. Again, as long as it doesn't come at the expense of others. Like that's a very strict line that we draw. We do the best we can. We do everything that we need to, want to, and desire to do, as long as it doesn't come at the expense of others. So get America to adopt that. We'll teach the world and we'll get the American public on our side. Not only America, again, like it's a small fraction of what we need, but the world. I know I live in America and I'm kind of just like spit that out just because it's what I'm surrounded by constantly. But yeah, no, it's everybody. We're helping everybody, not just America, everybody. Canada, Japan, China, Taiwan, Nigeria, Uganda, Somalia, South Africa, France, Germany, UK, Slovakia, Ukraine, Russia, Iran, Iraq, Tehran, Oman, Yemen, Saudi Arabia. Fucking you name it. Go down. It's any country you think of. Philippines, Australia, New Zealand. Anyway. No one is beyond salvation. No radicals are beyond redemption. America have gotten pretty, they've gotten pretty radical. But they're not beyond redemption, because guess what? You got me. You got me, baby, and I'm here to save you all. Believe it or not. Yeah, I don't have the same approach as Jesus does. That guy, oh man, he was a little goody goody two shoes, and yeah, no, I've got a. Yeah, here's the thing. There's a reason I was sent down is because yeah, I'm able to kind of connect more with a more wider range of audiences. I know that like I might be distasteful a little off the bat for a lot of people, but at the end of the day, or like in the overall, there we go. Able to understand and be accepting of a much wider range of audiences, if not everyone. And so I'm willing to be accepting of essentially everyone, or at least try to understand everyone, accept them if it's like, makes sense or it's understandable. Some people are just batshit insane, so that's more difficult to work with, but they can still be useful. So even if you're like totally crazy, you still have a body that you can move around, do stuff with, and we can find ways to make that productive in a humane way, as obviously. Like so giving everybody their humanity, their dignity, respect that they deserve and are entitled to. I'm gonna keep on watching some news. I feel like I just need to like let my brain relax for a little bit because I feel very aggravated and I need to focus on this. I need to complete my work and I need to continue working and I can't be distracted with just emotion. I can't like, never allow emotion to cloud your judgment. Always be pragmatic, always be reasonable, always be clear-headed and focused. It's very important. Right now I'm running off a little bit of sleep, so the words I'm using are kind of struggling to come with them right now, but I'm doing all right. I'm good. All right, I'm gonna just take a breather, calm down a little bit, and keep on working. Got some notes to transfer. Here, we'll do one more right now, maybe on the lighthearted side. Just like some quotes I just like remembered here from people saying, so that would be kind of cool to add into some of the TV shows and movies or even stories that I write. So one quote here says, "I'm putting the dust on them," or outrunning them, or "I'm in a flow state right now," basically meaning you're on point. Uh, Basically, you're crushing it. You're doing good. You're doing very well, performing well. High performance levels. All right, let's go ahead and transfer those. Just to open. I really don't know what's going on with the comments. I'm gonna look that up. Let me see if there's issues going on. Like, I don't know if it's YouTube messing up or if it's something I did at some point, but I noticed it's like as of the last week or so. Seems like this little monkey with a hammer over here on the right side and says YouTube search, says something went wrong. I don't know where that came from or why it's there, but I think that's where the comments are supposed to be. I don't know what's going on with it. If anybody knows, I mean, I would say comment, but I can't see the comments, so I don't know. I might be able to see them after the video's done. Not really sure. I don't know. All right. Stay on mission. Back on mission.
Members of the public who attended the Ultimate Fighting Championship or UFC Freedom 250 event in Washington, D.C. at the White House on June 14th. Before I continue, I want to remind everybody that what I am about to discuss is alleged in charging instruments that contain allegations only, and that the defendants we're going to talk about today are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. As our court filings reveal, the investigation of this plot began on June 10th right here in the City District of Ohio. The Knox County Sheriff's deputies and Danville police officers responded to the Knox County resident of Tyson Proper after receiving a report from a concerned family member. Upon further investigation, Prober was arrested and charged in this district by criminal complaint. The investigation continued and led to the arrest of and federal criminal complaints filed against 6 other individuals located in 4 other federal jurisdictions across the country. Those individuals are Abraham Alvarez, Daniel Eskridge, William Faulkner, Jordan Rinker, Ryan Roa, and Michael Thomas. Thanks to this quick law enforcement action and close coordination and cooperation between federal prosecutors in my office and those in the Central District of California, the Western District of Missouri, the District of Nebraska, and the Western District of Washington, as well as from the Department of Justice's National Security Division, this alleged plot was disrupted before it could be carried out, ensuring a safe and successful UFC Freedom 250 event on June 14th. The indictment handed down yesterday consolidates all of these previously filed criminal complaints into one charging instrument and adds an 8th defendant to the conspiracy, Chandler D. Skaggs, 21 of Chapmanville, West Virginia. Mr. Skaggs was taken into custody a few days ago in West Virginia. The indictment charges all 8 men with 2 conspiracy counts. The first count is a conspiracy to provide material support to terrorists by way of money, firearms, ammunition, body armor, explosives, drones, medical and communications equipment, as well as personnel, with the knowledge and intent that those resources were to be used in preparation for and to carry out the murder of federal officers and employees in the course of an attack on a federal facility and the use of a weapon of mass destruction. That first conspiracy count is punishable by up to 15 years of imprisonment.
Oh yeah, because he qualified mass shooting.
The second count is a conspiracy to commit murder on the federal government territory and to murder a federal government official, including the President of the United States, Vice President of the United States, and members of Congress. That second count is punishable by up to an imprisonment. The indictment details several acts allegedly committed by the defendants in May and June of this year, including acquiring and maintaining firearms, ammunition and body armor, meeting to train in marksmanship and combat tactics, meeting to provide firearms and other gear to each other, purchasing a 3D printer to make drones, making plans to travel together to Washington, D.C., and actually beginning travel to Washington, D.C. The allegations in this indictment, we allege, show that these men were not simply airing grievances from behind their keyboards and sharing like-minded political ideologies. Rather, they took action to carry out a plot to attack the UFC Freedom 250 event and to murder federal officials at the highest levels of our government. Political discourse has many places in our society. Political violence has none. Because of the diligent, around-the-clock work of our AUSAs, our law enforcement partners, our sister U.S. attorneys' offices around the country, and the National Security Division, these 8 men are now in custody, and this threat to our government and to the public has been successfully neutralized. But our work is not finished. My office, along with our great law enforcement partners, will continue to do everything in our power to protect fellow citizens from threats to their safety and to hold accountable those who would commit violence against our nation and its leaders. So I'm now going to turn things over to Special Agent in Charge, Jason Cromartie from the FBI.
As mentioned, the group was making plans and taking steps to conduct an attack on our nation's capital. However, every day, the FBI takes steps to identify and to protect people from those threats. Good morning. My name is Jason Cromartie, and Special Agent in Charge for FBI Cincinnati, which covers the southern and central portions of Ohio. The mission of the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force is to detect and disrupt terror plots that target Americans with an emphasis on preventing incidents before they occur. I'm honored to be here today with our partners to announce these indictments related to the threats against the Freedom 250 Ultimate Fighting Championship, or UFC.
That's fine.
The event was to be held at the White House last month. This is a classic example of see something, say something. Saving lives, and how the law enforcement partnership comes together to keep our communities safe. The FBI is grateful for these partnerships that have helped prevent attacks. For the initial 911 call, law enforcement colleagues with the Danville Police Department and the Knox County Sheriff's Office recognized a potential threat. Their deputies and patrol officers did a tremendous job in evaluating the situation, taking immediate action, and exposing this terrorist threat, and then contacting the FBI. When the FBI began to investigate Tyson Foods, we quickly learned of the alleged plot involved multiple people across the country coordinating and planning a violent attack. The FBI identified the Secret Service, who were great partners in our efforts to protect the U.S. homeland. Command post coordinated interviews, intelligence analysis, the execution of search warrants around the country quickly identified additional participants in this conspiracy. This resulted in additional subjects being arrested by the FBI over a matter of days in several states, as mentioned, in Missouri, Nebraska, and California. Through this investigation, we learned the group allegedly planned to carry out a mass casualty attack involving the use of drones, armed with explosives, and firearms meant to shoot people fleeing in the practice. Command posts also included membership of the Secret Service and other partners to share information in real time and to help ensure no violence occurred at the White House UFC events or any other high-profile events. Again, the FBI would like to thank our local partners at the Knox County Sheriff's Office, the Danville Police Department, and particularly members of the Columbus Division of Police, who were an integral part of this investigation. I must commend the special agents, the task force officers, the intelligence analysts, and the other team members of the Joint Terrorism Task Force, and the many other law enforcement agencies and officers around the country for their work on this case. They continue their commitment to keeping people safe and working together to protect our nation. Especially the work by the United States Attorney's Office in the Southern District of Ohio, who helped us put together this case. Together, we worked long hours, ceaselessly over several weeks to investigate, make fast work of uncovering connections, and disrupting this plot. I also want to thank FBI leadership and the various supporting divisions of FBI headquarters and many FBI field offices coast to coast who are directly involved in this investigation. They've all committed significant amount of resource to ensure this conspiracy was aggressively and thoroughly investigated. Finally, the FBI wants to remind the public how important it is to speak up when they are concerned about something and they observe something that just not is not. They observe this isn't right. Again, we've all heard the saying, see something, say something. This was an excellent case of someone who was concerned by what they were seeing and contacted law enforcement before violence could occur. I encourage the public, if something does not seem right, please alert the authorities. You can always call the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI, or in an emergency, please call 911. It is our partnerships with law enforcement and with the public together that strengthen our safety nationwide. Thank you. I'll now turn it over to the U.S. Secret Service, Jason Reese.
Thanks, Jason. Good morning. My name is Jason Reese. I'm the Special Agent in charge of the U.S. Secret Service in Cincinnati. I'd like to begin by thanking the U.S. Attorney's Office, the U.S. Attorney and his staff, our federal and local partners at the FBI, the Joint Terrorism Task Force, and the special agents and the technical investigators who got us to this point. There is no mission of greater importance to the Secret Service than the protection of our nation's leaders. And the work put into this investigation makes that point crystal clear. When the information came in, it was a great example of how layers of law enforcement can work efficiently together. Once we had the information that we needed, the Secret Service and federal and local partners were able to identify and lawfully interrupt a communication network that gave us a roadmap to a sinister plot targeting the White House complex. Our agents and support staff are always on alert. In this case, they worked around the clock in a short window of time in order to mitigate and interdict this threat. I'm truly grateful for their tenacity. From here, the investigation and findings will be presented in court. We'll protect the integrity of that process, and any further comments will be made through official court filings. Lastly, I want to make very clear to the public that nobody is more aware of the threats that lurk outside of our doors than the Secret Service. Rest assured that this agency's vigilance and dedication to duty will continue to keep our nation's leaders and institutions safe. I'd like to introduce to you the Deputy Chief from the Columbus Division of Police, Deputy Chief Singh. Thank you.
I'm the Deputy Chief of our Special Operations Subdivision of the Columbus Division of Police. On behalf of Chief Elaine Bryant, I wanted to thank all of our federal, state, and local partners for their efforts and collaboration in this case. Ohio Homeland Security protects the public by analyzing threats, sharing intelligence, safeguarding critical infrastructure, and coordinating emergency preparedness and response. Region 4, which includes much of Central Ohio, including Knox County, works together to safeguard the largest city in Ohio and anything in the region which could impact Columbus. As the largest department in the state, the Columbus Division of Police has dedicated resources to the our Homeland Security Section Counterterrorism Unit and assigned them to the statewide Terrorism Analysis and Crime Center, which is the Ohio's Fusion Center. The Fusion Center network allows us to quickly address rapidly evolving situations and threats to our city, state, and throughout the nation. We also dedicate many resources to the local FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force. We're proud of that partnership. These efforts cannot be accomplished alone. They are successful because of the partnerships, but not just because of the partnerships with law enforcement. It's the partnerships with the communities we serve. We would like to thank everyone involved in this case who saw something, said something, and took action. This is how we work together to ensure our communities thrive and our residents feel safe showing up to large events. Thank you.
Jonathan Treble needed brain surgery. He didn't only have to fight for his life, he also had to fight his insurance companies to get the coverage he deserved. Now, with clarity and purpose, Jonathan's running for Congress to stop Donald Trump's assault on our healthcare system, Trump's assault on immigrant communities.
Imagine before it happens.
Say Russia overnight, Ukrainian drone attacks have sparked fires at all facilities in the country. Kyiv has recently stepped up its attacks on Russia. President Putin has acknowledged the strikes were causing fuel shortages. CBS News has learned American-made technology is helping Ukraine strike Russia. More on this, we're joined by CBS News international reporter Aidan Stretch, who continues his reporting out of Kyiv. Aidan, good to see you this morning. What role then is American tech playing in these Ukrainian strikes in Russia, and how effective have those strikes?
Good morning, Errol. The strikes themselves have been extremely effective, especially in and around Crimea. That's the southern Ukrainian peninsula occupied by Russia since 2014. And you've seen authorities there cut off gas sales to civilians, declare states of emergency. And there's a few reasons for why these strikes have been so effective recently. First and foremost is Ukrainian innovation and ingenuity. 95% of the weapons used in these strikes are Ukrainian made. But Ukraine has also benefited from some foreign private companies that have sent drones and other technology in throughout the war, all reporting focused on an American defense firm called Shield AI. It manufactures a long-range reconnaissance drone known as the VBAT. And what Ukrainian naval drone operators told us is that it has really helped expand the range of their strikes into Russia. And then oftentimes when you're seeing large plumes of smoke rising out of refineries around Moscow, or trucks hitting high winds, it's because the VBAT flew a surveillance flight and took some photos around those targets where the attack drones later landed.
It's incredible to see footage of that technology at work. And also, Aiden, this week we discussed heading into the NATO summit, President Trump being asked by Ukraine for Patriot defense missiles. And I understand now President Trump says the country will get at least a production license to help make them. Help us understand what that means and how helpful that may be for Kyiv.
Bear with me for a second here, because now we're getting into the weeds of some of this technology works. But as you said, what we're talking about is Patriot air defense. But they shoot American-made missile interceptors out of these systems to try and hit Russian ballistic missiles that are heading down towards Ukrainian cities. And there's been global shortages of these missile interceptors for months now. And so what Ukraine has asked for is the right to manufacture these interceptors on their own here in Ukraine. President Trump said that he supports this and that he'll give Ukraine a license to do this. What experts have pointed out to me, and you'll see on media platforms everywhere, is that it will take a long time for countries to develop these specific types of technology on their own. Germany received a similar license, and it took them 3 years to develop a successful program. But the other thing I'll point out is that pretty much every conversation I've had with Ukrainian officials over the last 6 months, the top priority has been receiving a license to manufacture these Patriots. And so I think you also have to ask the question, why would they be asking for the right to do this if they didn't think that they could really develop a successful defense here against these missiles just been taking so many Ukrainians recently?
Well, it's know they did get something they've been pushing for a long time. A stretched like for us in Kyiv. Aiden, thank you very much.
China is planning to invade Taiwan by 2027. That was the explosive headline from multiple outlets. Here is the China increased military spending suggested they were getting ready to achieve their military and geopolitical ambitions. Of course, with Taiwan, this was definitely nothing new. China and its ambitions were mainly. Then Taiwanese Defense Minister Chiu Chen Washington was concerned about China's actions in 6 years and had to make contingency plans in case. And then Washington revised its option. Now the invasion is no bigger than time. Calculating remains the same. Deadline no generalized in the future China could compare the benefits. When that happens, we need to be ready. There are serious questions about whether China is really prepared for zero attack. All the government community appears to be implementing its plans in every time. If China were to invade Taiwan today, it would be the first thing from a fair point imaginable. China's military is a lot larger than Taiwan's, and Beijing spends orders of magnitude more on its defense industry than small island democracy can afford. In 2025, China spent $336 billion on defense, second only to the United States, spent about $20 billion. With such a massive gulf in strength of their forces, Taiwan would quickly lose in the That's why the countries decided to go all in on asymmetric defense. In 2025, the Taiwanese government published the Quadrennial Defense Review, or QDR, a document that laid out how the strategy would work in practice. Instead of betting everything on one decisive engagement, the idea was to break potential invasion at every stage. Before Chinese ships leave their home ports, Taiwan wants to be able to disrupt them when relaxation, while the Chinese Navy crosses the Taiwan Strait. They plans to use a combination of mines, submarines, and coastal missiles to reduce the numbers. During the actual land zones, Taiwan plans to allow units dispersed across the beaches and short-range weapons to try and slow them down. And if Chinese troops manage to get a foothold in a Taiwanese city, the plan is for them to face a protracted urban resistance. The key word in that last sentence, of course, is if. To get to the actual landing stage, China will have to pull off the largest amphibious operation in history, bigger even than D-Day. The D-Day landing occurred in rural France along a relatively flat 80-kilometre beachfront, defended by around 50,000 troops with no anti-ship missiles to speak of. Even with these advantages, the Allies still needed to deploy over 6,000 ships and over 1,000 aircraft, which together landed approximately 155,000 troops. China, meanwhile, had to cross the Taiwan Strait under the threat of submarines, missiles, and mines, then land on the coastline with only a handful of beaches wide enough for Asian force. War planners who estimate China's Navy can transport roughly 21,000 troops and the equivalent of one heavy amphibious brigade. Brave and even process heavy amphibious service would probably only bring that up to the equivalent of 3 brigades of the Americans. Such a force would be insufficient to deal with military, which fields 7 combined units. In short, the big hope is that the literal barrier of the Taiwan Strait alone will be enough. But given all that, having managed to cross flatness, let's just relax. We've been formed military planning ever since the days of Hannibal. Taipei is wisely leaving chance. To defeat a seaborne army, Taiwan has ordered up to 100 land-based Harpoon coastal defense systems and 400 missiles on board its own Haitian Feng 2 and 3 anti-ship missiles and the Thunderbolt defense rocket system. Its investment in these systems means that it has the highest density of anti-ship missiles in the world, and the plan is to use them to make the Taiwan Strait a killing field long before any Chinese troops beaches. As part of its Strait strategy, Taiwan has also bought loitering munitions, which the Defense Ministry claims will give it both reconnaissance and an immediate strike option against anything moving faster. Taiwan has also invested in mines and attacking systems, and it's seeking to expand stockpiles that Washington estimated to be worth $11 billion. As part of this deal, which Washington approved in December last year, Taiwan would get 82 HIMARS, 420 attacking systems, 1,050 Javelin missiles, and a host of other munitions that will make it heavy warfare. Now, we have to mention here that these deals were approved before the US went to war. Depleted business stockpiles. Experts believe that it would take anything from between 1 to 4 years to rebuild the stockpiles to pre-war levels. The fastest way to do it would be delaying sales to allows more priorities. It's a decision which could affect. Indeed, US officials suggested that this could be the case over military experts for water necessity of such wars. What's more pertinent is the fact that even working at speed, it would still take between 3 and 6 years to deliver all the weapons intended for Taipei. We also have to talk about Taiwan's troops, because all of these weapons are meaningless if Taiwan doesn't have people trained to use them to full effect. The QDR is shaken up how the Taiwanese military conducts its training. Greater emphasis on simulating force on site and real-time combat. The QDR also calls for a more intensive program for reserves to improve their battle readiness and their ability to coordinate forces. Taipei recently extended mandatory reserve training from up to 7 days to 14 days and introduced drone operations and HIMARS training. As part of this renewed approach to training, Taiwan's Kangquan's exercise to simulate our response to invasion was extended to include 2 weeks of computerized tabletop war games and 10 days of live fire. Previously, the exercise was 5 days. While the exercise is great practice, it also serves an important geostrategic purpose, signaling to China that Taiwan is very, very capable of defending itself. And it isn't just preparing its for potential invasion, it's big civilians skills to resist potential occupation as part of the whole of society civilian strategy introduced. As part of this strategy, Mai's administration plans to train at least 400,000 civilians to contribute to societal resistance by providing crucial services such as distributing emergency supplies and support. Whether the whole of society strategy will actually be effective, only time will tell. However, the fact that Taipei is investing this much time and effort in preparing its civilians underscores just how seriously they're taking threats of invasion. Finally, after discussing the Taiwan strategy, learning lessons from other wars. Ukraine is a very destructive classroom at the time needs the plans illustrating how effective cheap drones can be in extracting high cost for the military. Ukraine's campaign in the Black Sea is also showing how a nation with no navy to speak of can utilize modern technology to bring warships to spare in the hunting. Taiwan has also learned lessons from these, particularly the war in Gaza, now rapidly has evolved and how deeply an outreach force can dig in, refuses to accept that resistance is futile. That is an extremely important lesson for Taiwan to learn if it wants to have any hope of successful resisting China. Now, so far, we painted a really rosy picture of Taiwan's defense strategies. But as we implied in the intro, there is, of course, another side to the story, one that says that while Taiwan plans sound great on paper, they face several major challenges, including politicians who seem more beholden to China than to their homelands. Politicians seem to be doing all they can to ensure Taipei will be able to defend itself. Squandered potential. Let's start with the bane of all defense devices, money. In May, Taiwan's opposition control legislature passed a stripped down version of the special defense budget, cutting it from the $40 billion the administration wanted down to around $24.8 billion. These cuts affected several systems that are crucial to fighting modern wars, including centers, postal surveillance, programs, and the government ruled that these cuts risked undermining hampering the growth of the country's indigenous defense industry and creating gaps in future national defense. The opposition, on the other hand, claims that they didn't want to hands up for governments and check. They also insisted that Taiwan should buy weapons from the US instead of wasting money on disputed license. This is an extremely important position for the opposition, given that they have long believed that Washington has Taiwan who would most useless weapons. So we have to ask, take on a big project with them. Only they are great.
So Doug, who you taking? Norway. Yeah, I'm all in. Huh, interesting that. Super slow, you're testing for life, you can clear slow.
Thanks that a month before the budget was passed, Consider leader Chen Li-Wan to advocate greater engagement with Beijing, met with Chinese President Xi Jinping. During the meeting, both leaders stated their opposite violence and expressed a desire for a peaceful resolution to the long-its future. Li-Wan also talked about the institutional arrangement for war prevention, phrase which China observers, including Wen Qishan, would get China understood to mean that her party would not be seeking a deterrent-orientated approach. Some told Al Jazeera that the message was that Taiwan ought to slow down on defense build-up and buy missiles. Given all that, it's not hard to see why observers were skeptical of the reasons the opposition gave for the defense budgets, as it points to one of the deepest problems Taiwanese defense space. As long as parties opposed to the island's independence control parliament, defense spending stays at the mercy of people who'd rather hand Taiwan to China than fight for it. If everything the opposition cut, the drone programs the government's original $40 billion special budget included Taiwan's largest ever drone procurement plan, roughly 200,000 drones and 1,000 vessels between 2026 and 2032. The version that actually passed in May didn't just trim that plan, it zeroed out new domestic drone procurement for 2026 entirely and eliminated the roughly $2 billion earmarked for joint drone research and production. Yes, the timing could not be worse. Taiwan currently has fewer than 10,000 combat relevant drones. Its arsenal bears very, which is targeting production of more than 7 million drones this year alone, and 22.2 million for China, whose annual production capacity is millions. For a nation that is claiming to have learned lessons from the Ukraine war and the wars happening in the Middle East, it seems that the most important is the importance of the drone arsenal and the domestic supply chains so that they are not reliant on any foreign power, just didn't stick. And one is a major problem. It's not the only one that the island is facing. There's a feeling among military observers that while Taiwan talks a big game and makes defense, its defense plans are still wedded to the ideas of conventional. Take the F-35. Figures within the Taiwanese government have long insisted that Taipei needs the F-35 to determine Chinese fighters and to be able to achieve windows of air superiority during its invasion attempt. In November 2024, the Financial Times that Taiwan wanted to buy as many as 60 F-35s as part of a massive defense spending plan meant to show the incoming Trump administration that it was serious about defending itself against China. Taiwan didn't end up buying a plane because Washington was by selling them, they would be attacking and therefore making an invasion. Right. There was also a fear on Washington's part that if they handed F-35s to Taiwan, as they could end up invasion with China would know everything made one of the most advanced planes in America's arsenal tick. With these challenges, the fact that Taiwan even wanted the F-35 in the first place, observers worried. The F-35 is an expensive plane to buy and operate, and will undoubtedly why it is whether buying so many of them would be worth the whole debt blow in the Taiwanese defense budget, especially since other critical systems like drones are currently stopped for funds. According to researchers from the Simpson Center in Washington, basically, the days of high profile positions means that it is ignored critical behind-the-scenes including logistics, which are essential for existence. One retired general who spoke to the center said that the island's munitions were quite old, concerning pointed to shortages of small arms, ammunition, and spare parts, as well as gaps in fuel, medical supplies, as a strategic mistake on Taipei's part. And it's not just munitions. The concern is that Taiwan would be unable to feed its troops. What this means often failed. Time emphasizes because the deliberate did locations. The center also pointed out that Taiwan's rugged mountains and urban environments, which would be place to hide stockpiles of weapons, ammunition, and other materials, systems have largely been tapped. For a nation that has bet on survival of its population's ability to maintain a protracted resistance and make any invasion as painful as possible, this is a tower price. We also need to discuss Taiwan's reserves, because while the government often claims that it has 1.6 million reserves, the real number seems to be far less, and those who are actually receiving training is still. No theory about that conversation. It's reported that the majority of Taiwan's reserves were neither receiving training nor engaging with the reserve system. Francis Lalari, which I for a researcher the ex-military think tank in Taipei, told the outlet that the reservists didn't receive training because the government didn't have enough trainers or training. Also, businesses that employ reservists were not supported with their personnel being away from work for long stretches, which would make it politically costly for any party to extend the training time for the reserves. Even if Taiwan could train all of its reservists, there are still doubts about whether it could or mobilize them. Retired officers who spoke to the Simpson Center said that Taipei didn't have enough rifles to equip even 250,000 reservists. On mobilization, Taiwan seems stuck. Etc. Right, police officers to have to deliver paper mobilization notices to reserves instead of using an app. One retired general told the Simpson Center that it would take between 60 to 90 days for the reserves to be fully mobilized, by which point this is one of the biggest strategic blunders that Taipei is making. Is serious about responding to a threat, as former Defense Minister Chiu Kuo-cheng said in 6 hours. Taiwan also has a serious manpower, with the number of men eligible for military service expected to drop below 80,000. This decline is happening alongside a broader demographic decline as the island's fertility rate fell to 0.69 in 2025, which is one of the lowest. For comparison, China's fertility rate is 0.25, and the government was treating it like a 9-alarm fire. Without enough soldiers, no amount of reforms or modern weapon systems can save Taiwan from China. And finally, we need to discuss Taiwan's military culture, which observers have described as wanting. Dr. Michael Hunziker, a former Marine who trained Taiwanese units, wrote in War on the Rocks that Taiwan's military remained a deeply unserious organization that was not prepared to fight a war. He added that even with the QDR, Taipei still doesn't have a its overarching doctrine associated with operational concepts to guide everything from procurement to training. If it's not fixed, that gap will severely hinder Taipei's fighting potential. And I'm not saying this to provide China. It's not it. Rather, we're adding our voices to the chorus warning that Taiwan needs to start taking its defense more seriously if it wants to survive an invasion. Because if it doesn't, then allies, particularly the US, may question the wisdom of trying to intervene. Friends to the rescue. In May of this year, American President Donald Trump met his Chinese counterpart in Beijing for a 2-day bilateral summit that touched on everything from trade, war in Iran, and of course, After the meeting, he told Fox News, putting in here, "We're not looking to have somebody go independent. That, we're supposed to travel 9,500 miles to fight a war. I'm not looking for that. I want them to cool down. I want China to cool down." Trump's statement, which is one of the strongest that an American president has made so far, independence, triggered a flurry of response from Taiwan. Officials were eager to make it clear that the island wasn't looking to formally declare its independence at the time, even though the US has explicitly stated support for Taiwanese independence. Trump's statements raised fears of the observers that Washington's commitment to Taiwan wavered. Washington has long maintained a policy of strategic ambiguity and reassured rhetoric that against the Chinese invasion. However, if the president was openly saying that he had no appetite for a fight 15,000 kilometers from home after a meeting with Xi Jinping, then if you're Taipei, you need to get worried. With America's commitments to protect Taiwan in doubt, help could come from much closer to home. While speaking to Parliament in November last year, Japan's Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi said that an attack on Taiwan could be viewed as an existential crisis for Tokyo, which would allow it to come to Taiwan. While the statement may Beijing nerves, between the two nations, it is the kind of statement that sounds very reassuring in Taipei, and Japan may not be alone. Tokyo has been working to improve its military ties with some of the areas of areas that doesn't depend entirely on how committed Washington feels on any given day. The two nations met in May to discuss the possibility of a military logistics support agreement, which means that if Japan is drawn into a war over Taiwan, South Korea could find itself involved. The Philippines is also guaranteed given its proximity to the large Filipinos. All of this is welcome news for Taiwan, but it doesn't change the fundamental issues that we've highlighted. Asymmetric strategy, an unfriendly terrain, a great whacking straight across, and friends willing to come to the rescue can make a Chinese invasion extremely costly. It can't compensate for empty magazines, an undertrained and ill-equipped reserve force, and a legislature controlled by politicians who are willing to give in to China's needs. If China is to survive a chance, then it needs to start taking its defense more seriously. If nothing changes, then it doesn't matter if an attack comes in 6 hours, 6 days, 6 months, or 6 years. China will still find a military, which in the words of Dr. Hunsaker, is a deeply unserious organization, unprepared to fight war. Thank you for watching.
Dear dealers, they just got AT&T fiber, so now every room is crazy fast internet. Every room, even the garage.
Give your neighbors something new to talk about. AT&T fiber is fast internet is now available in your neighborhood.
We're looking for people 40 plus who want to actually master football.
Still nobody watching, but whatever. We're still on mission no matter what. No matter what. We do the right thing no matter what. No matter how tired I am, how hungry I am, how oppressed or subjugated I am, I will personally do the right thing no matter what. All right, so what are we doing here? We got some quotes. I had some quotes from the Bible. I was just asking Gemini what the full version was, what the full version of it was, and what passage they originated from, and what the context was as well. For the prayer for forgiveness, I know I said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. I kind of had a feeling it wasn't like completely the exact translation. I wasn't too far off at all, though. It was just, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. So, just kind of switched up the word a little bit, but got the gist of it. But now I know, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Even that's a translation. So essentially, that's the gist, and very good message to remember. So this is recorded during the crucifixion of Jesus. Hold on, let's go back. The prayer for forgiveness from Luke 23:34. This is a full passage from the New King James Version. This is recorded during the crucifixion of Jesus, representing his act of intercession for his executioners. He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. This was spoken by Jesus while he was being crucified. It illustrates the central Christian theme of mercy. Even in the midst of extreme physical suffering and injustice, Jesus recognizes the ignorance of those carrying out the execution. So, law enforcement, justice system, government, other authority figures basically recognize that they're limited in their capacity to think or see the whole picture, and so they're going to make a lot of misjudgments and a lot of mistakes. But despite that, we do our best to guide them, enlighten them, and show them what the right course of action is and what the right way of thinking is. So, spreading enlightenment, peace, love, mercy, and joy, and implementing true freedom and true justice. Not whatever this current American fascist, borderline Nazi regime is doing. Being oppressive and is it subjugative a word? It's subjugating people. It is not acceptable. God knows what he needs me to do. God knows what he needs me to help others to do. And so God asked, who shall I send? I said, here I am, send me. Because I am willing to fulfill my mission no matter what. I'm the only one that I know for a fact is willing to do whatever is right no matter what. The only thing I can trust for other people right now is that they're willing to do what's best for themselves no matter what, but not what's best for everybody. I don't live for myself, man. I live for others. There's no point in doing shit just for myself. I'm completely the opposite. Maybe it's that brain damage I got. It really just gave me another way of thinking where I'm like, there's no point in doing things just for myself. I'm like, if I was like Elon Musk, I had $1 trillion, I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck am I doing with all this? Like here, you guys take some, like you guys can use this, otherwise it's just gonna be sitting in the little piggy bank doing absolutely nothing. It's not gonna be feeding into the economy or doing anything. So I'm like, yeah, no, I don't personally need all that shit. Here, take it, go for it, or invest it. I mean, well, I basically invested, so I think that's probably what he's doing too. Investigate, stimulate the economy, and pushing it out so other people can use it. And that $1 trillion is more just like total what he already has and has an ability to invest in stuff. Does that include active investment stuff that he has in stocks and everything too? So it's kind of tied up in stocks right now. Is that counted in his net worth? Because I mean that's fine. Like if you have stuff that's invested in businesses, invested in society, and that's out there, that's good. But if you're just holding on to it, hoarding it, that is absolutely not valuable to anyone. I mean, to that same person, but it doesn't help anybody else. And I mean, if that person, even the person who has it, if they're not using it, it's not benefiting them really. I mean, it's kind of like a cushion, like a safety blanket. It's more like a mental thing, psychologically comforting thing. Ah. Oh, help me. Your people aren't with me. They seem to be nothing but against me. But God, I know you're with me, and we will bring them closer to you so that you can come back here. I know that until they change, I know that you want nothing to do with this planet. You want nothing to do with this earth until they're able to correct themselves. Recognize it for what it is. Showed me that too. I will compare this world for you to make it heaven on earth. Right now, it's pretty hellish. People are miserable. People are dying. People are still killing each other. People still have savage, primal mentalities and urges. And it is not yet ready for you. I know that I didn't really contribute to it, but at the same time, I want to apologize, Lord, for just what this world's become. We've made a lot of improvements. We've done a lot. We've done a lot of good, but also done a lot of bad. There's a lot of injustices still being carried out and a lot of horrible things still happening. Somebody has to step up and fix it. We can't just be complacent and accept things as good enough. We can't just be happy with some of the things and ignore all the rest. Just because either one, by comparison, we realize that, oh yeah, it's fine. Like we're willing to accept it, like accept the bad things because in order to keep the good things. And then other times it's, you know, people think, man, it's God in the RNG, man. Show me how to do it the right way. I know what I'm doing is right. Show me how to go about it the right way so I can help them, so we can save them, so we can reach out to as many of them as possible and save as many of them as possible. We don't want anyone to die. We don't want anyone to get hurt. That is never our intention or desire. Help everyone and hurt no one. I know you're with me, God. Your mission for me. Save this world for you, for us, for all of them. For the sake of everyone, for the sake of the future. Just help me find a way to get them to be with me too. Help me to find a way to convince them, to show them the light, to show them the truth, to show them the proper way forward. To reveal to them true peace. All right. One from Psalm 23:4, the full passage from the New King James Version. This is arguably the most famous psalm attributed to King David, describing God as a protective, guiding shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yeah, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Yeah, though I walk through this valley, yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me in the days of all my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The context for the previous passage here. The valley of the shadow of death is widely interpreted as a metaphor for deep darkness, severe trials, or the transition of physical death, where the presence of the shepherd or God provides security. Here we had, what was the other one? Oh, it was the Lord's Prayer. Go back to that. I put that under video structure. So I'm trying to create a new video structure for myself from here on out, be able to have a better structure, be able to consolidate time, to be able to, one, save time, be more efficient, and just have a better, more organized structure. We're going to try to keep on implementing that variety. So we're bouncing around from thing to thing. So we're not just doing the same mundane thing like for too long. I'm able to kind of switch it up, get that variety. Variety is the spice of life. So another prayer here. Now I lay me down to sleep. The common traditional version. This is a traditional bedtime prayer for children. It is not found in the Bible, but it is deeply rooted in English folk tradition and religious upbringing. Lay me down to sleep, or now I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. This prayer dates back to at least the early 18th century, appearing in the New England Primer in 1737. Historically, it was often part of a longer sequence of verses that included an invocation to the evangelists, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, to guard the bed's four corners. Many modern versions have been softened to remove the references to death, replacing them with requests for morning light or guidance. Do you need help with organizing them? Hear me. Keep on saying I'm gonna take a break. You know, I just jumped into like working and stuff. I need to like take a moment, just relax and meditate for a little bit. Something clear my head. Speak to me. Oh, Shohei Ohtani is going to miss the All-Star game. He will not pitch tonight or participate in the All-Star game. Is going to, the All-Star games are kind of a joke now. Like they don't even try. Like they don't want their players getting hurt or like blowing out their arm or like getting hurt in any way. So these players don't actually even really play. They've got the best of the best players, but they're playing at literally the worst they've ever played because they don't actually try. So, All-Star games are pointless. Pro Bowl, pointless. I mean, it's more of like a, what do you call it? Commemorative thing or celebratory thing. And, it's not show prices.
And the parking lot, the employees parking lot of Spectrum, that's located on Highway 92, just west of Berkeley Road in the city of Auburndale. Immediately, Auburndale police officers started an emergency response to that location, as did the deputies assigned in the unincorporated area that worked the Auburndale area. We responded together. Before we got here, there was conflicting information before 911 calls about shots still being fired. So at that moment in time, we go, okay, it's a business. There's more shots fired. What's going on? I think it's important to point out that that's what patrol officers and patrol deputies face every day. The first 911 call is not clear and concise. So they're literally going into an unknown situation. But what they did is they reported suicide, and then the reports of shots fired. So when our officers and deputies arrived, what we found on the ground was a lady. Turns out to be a black female, 20 years of age. Because of Marcy's law, we're prohibited from releasing her identity at this time. But it's painfully evident to the officers and deputies on scene that she has suffered very significant wounds. At that same time, we also see this man.
There you go. Violent crime, prison.
He is Dedrick
Bedford.
He's 39 years of age. He is laying on the ground holding a firearm in his hand. It's an officer's approach. He starts manipulating the gun and then pointing it in their direction. 5 Auburndale police officers and 2 deputy sheriffs shot. And they shot a multiple number of times. And then we began emergency services to try to save both of their lives. Now, at this moment in time, our officers and deputies say, well, what he's done is shot her, and then he has shot at our deputies and officers. This preliminary information that we're giving you is all subject to modification because we got several different witnesses. Certainly, we're looking at a parking lot video from Spectrum who is totally cooperating with us, as are these surrounding stores who business has been stopped for this emergency. But here's what we know. We know that this black female 20, our victim, has had a ongoing relationship with Derek Bethright, who's 39. They have a child in common. We are told, and I underscore, we are told, we haven't run all this to ground, that he said yesterday he threatened his girlfriend, they're not married, this victim, our 20-year-old victim, I'm going to kill you and then kill myself. So she gets up this morning, she puts their 3-year-old beautiful little boy in the car. She lives in Lake Wales and she drives to Waverly, which is north of Lake Wales. She drops him off at Dad's parents' house or Derek's house. Then she's on her way to work. She works for Spectrum as some kind of telephone agent or customer service agent. Supposedly she's still in training. She stops on Highway 92 at Wendy's and gets a drink and some breakfast. And then she pulls into the parking lot of Spectrum by herself. And he approaches her, and the witness hears 2 rapid gunshots. And she's found outside the driver's door of her vehicle, ultimately mortally wounded. In addition to that, the suspect hears 2 rapid gunshots and then a single gunshot. Now the 911 calls are coming in. Our Auburndale officers and deputies are arriving. As they arrive, they see her orderly desperately wounded, and they need to get to her. And here's this guy laying on the ground. He's also wounded and holding a gun. As they approach him, he manipulates the gun and points it at them, and all 7 of the officers and deputies shoot him. Now, once that threat is neutralized, then they begin to help our victim and try to save the life of our suspect, Derek, who is still alive at that moment in time. Emergency services arrives. Ladies and gentlemen, if there's ever been a classic suicide by cop, this is it. But let me show you Derek's previous criminal history. This is his previous criminal history. He's been in trouble with the law for a very long time. This criminal history and dispositions shows us that he's got
Oh my god. Shut the fuck up, you piece of fucking shit. Alright, this fucking guy is just fucking, oh my god, he's trying to push a narrative. He's trying to paint this guy as fucking evil when yeah, dude, you're literally saying the thing without realizing what the fuck is actually going on. He has a track record. He has all this time in prison, which doesn't help people. It makes them fucking worse. Way fucking worse. It doesn't help them. It's your fucking institutions that are to blame. It's not him. He is a product of his environment. The environment you created this whole fucking situation. You fucking cocksuckers. You goddamn simple-minded little fucking dumbasses. Goddamn cops are fucking stupid. Fuck this guy. I want his name too. I want this guy and this fucking guy's name. They're getting charged for pushing fucking narratives, for supporting this fucking bullshit, dude. Like, you're blaming these people. These people can't be helped. No souls beyond salvation, no radicals beyond redemption. You're putting them in a place that is making them worse and worse and worse, and you're blaming them after the result for doing things that could have been completely prevented had you actually had the proper measures or preventative measures in place. If you would have actually have better institutions and better laws, regulations, better methods of addressing these issues, instead of just going ahead and labeling these people as fucking evil and doing nothing about it. You're like, all right, this guy's dead, our job's fucking done. Oh, fuck you. Why are these cops fucking going and just unloading on this guy? Why don't you guys get equipped with shields? Why the fuck do you guys need guns? Fuck your offensive shit. Fuck all this trying to fucking kill people, you dumb fucking murderers. Like, cops are pieces of shit, dude. I swear to God. These guys have no idea what the fuck they're doing. Claiming you're doing the right thing, but going completely the wrong way about it. Can't even fucking stand looking at this motherfucker anymore. What the fuck's my remote? Guys. This guy's a piece of shit. You too, fuck you for saying it. Brady Judd. Sure, Brady Judd, your name's going on the list.
He's got AT&T fiber. So
Brady Judd. Thank you so much, News, for giving me his name. Brady Judd will suffer the penalty. No death, no prison time, no jail time, but significant caps on spending. You're not gonna endure luxury. You're not gonna enjoy luxury. He's obviously going way too far, doing the wrong thing, so he needs to be limited in his ability to exert his authority and just preach a bunch of bullshit, completely analyzing the situation wrong. Dude, he literally got so fucking close. People get so close, they're like, oh yeah, they did all this prison time. Look at how fucking bad these people are. Oh my god, you guys are so fucking close to the actual answer. Fuck. I'm like, you guys just aren't fucking there. And it's so goddamn annoying, dude. It's not the person, man. It's their products of their environment. You stick them in a fucking place, this prison and shit, and you make them so much goddamn worse. They come out and dude, they're not influenced by good people. They don't get positive feedback. They just get this negative feedback, negative, 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 and they get this, what do you call it, this psychology, this master status, where they even see themselves as this bad person. It's like, all right, well, if you want to be identifying me as this bad person, well, all right, I'm gonna give you this bad person. I'm gonna give you the worst fucking supervillain you've ever fucking seen. And like, that is a horrible way of approaching shit. Like, god damn, the US government is so fucking borderline retarded, dude. Like, you guys are so frustratingly stupid. And it's oh my god, god damn. All right, diplomacy. Trying to understand from your perspective, like, yeah, it's like trying. I don't know, man. There's an extent where you're trying to do the right things, but then you realize that there's certain gaps in your knowledge, probably, and there's certain things that you probably aren't doing right, but you're like, you know what, enough of what I'm doing is right, so let's justify the rest of this by pushing whatever narrative or like pushing forward whatever agenda to label, slap on labels on things and not actually address them in the proper way. All right, Grady Judd, you motherfucking dumbass. All right, here we go. Another name to add to the list. Where's my list? There it is. All right, yeah, no, people need to be held accountable, especially when they're on public stages like this, promoting a bunch of fucking straight up BS. Like, they need to be held accountable. Fucking piece of fucking shit. Certain people that just simply do not deserve authority. Grady Judd, you are one of them. You are incompetent and can't see reality for what it truly is. You're pushing a false narrative, and that is not acceptable. Appropriate penalties will be imposed, rightfully so, on people like this who are genuinely making the world a worse place by pushing false narratives and clouding people's judgment, trying to make them believe that these people are bad. And when your institutions, the ones you fucking work for, the ones you're in the pocket of, are the ones that need fixing. Better education, better reformative measures. Jesus Christ, man. Just because something's hard doesn't make it impossible, and you guys can't be so short-sighted, so ass backwards, primitive, and just fucking stupid, man. Stop being so fucking stupid. Like, I wish I could just tell people stop being stupid. It's like, no, you gotta take the time to educate them, and you have to find the right approach. And I use these videos to kind of vent, and so that way, like, yes, I know I'm a little extreme in some of the things that I say on here, but at the same time, the reason I do it is just so I can get it the fuck out. And but at the same time, like, just, we'll get it out so that way when I'm actually interacting with people in person, I can be much more just, calm. And I don't have to say these things. I feel like I want to be able to get this out, and I want to be able to say this stuff, and so I'll do it here. And so that way when I'm talking to people in person, I can be more, this way you guys know where I'm coming from and you guys know what I'm talking about, but at the same time, I vent, and then so that way I get it out. And so that when I'm around other people, I can be more understanding, accepting of them, and calm and collected. And so that's calm and collected time when we're actually engaging with people, trying to make them feel human and heard and everything like that, and trying to use mindful communication and come to a genuinely amicable, more viable solution. Just something that is a better, more proper solution. Oh, yeah, dude, I just feel like I need to get this shit out. I just want to punch a hole straight to their fucking face or wall or something like that. I know who I am, and I know I don't. I know I don't advocate for violence whatsoever, so it's fun just to kind of be able to let it out. It's bullshit. And then once I'm actually talking to people face to face, we can actually talk. That kind of, I'm not sorry, like, because I'm genuinely right about this, but at the same time, I'm like, I apologize for getting heated, but I do not apologize for my stance on this. I apologize on behalf of Mr. JD Grudd here for his incompetence and it's either ignorance or maliciousness, but either way, it is incompetent and not deserve to have any legitimacy as a law enforcement officer or wear that badge, hold a weapon, or have authority over anybody else. So yeah, these kind of people do not deserve authority over other people because they have a short-sighted and they don't have the whole picture. They don't see long term. They don't see the whole picture of what's actually going on and what really the root causes of the problem are, the underlying issues. They just slap a label on things and assume that that's okay. It's just simple-minded, very simple-minded, and it comes at the expense of other people. And like this one, literally cost people their lives. So, this guy was, fuck. Yeah, like, he didn't have to die though. Yeah, he would have gone to prison for what he did to his girl, because that falls under the violent crime category, obviously. But when it comes to police officers, you got 7 officers just unloading on this guy. Like, that is extremely superfluous, and it didn't have to go down that way because you guys could use other things, non-lethal mechanism, non-lethal means. You could have shields and other things. Like, be fucking smart about this. Like, don't just continue to be idiots. Don't like just say like you take out one guy and be like, oh, it's all good now. I'm like, no, it's not fucking good. You guys did that. Even this thing, you did it the wrong way. You didn't do your jobs well. You say you did your job and everything like that. It wasn't the best like outcome though. This was one outcome, and it's not the best outcome. Fucking officers, law enforcement, everybody, you guys need to wake the fuck up. Like, see how fucked up the way you're doing things are and how much wrong and how much it's hurting people. How much of a detriment you are to society. You fucking dumbasses. Sorry. It's just like trying to Lord, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Don't worry, I'm here to enlighten you. Help me. Oh, Lord. Any issue the world still has to not much stuff can be fixed, but hey, a lot of things fixed. Something like really good.
Life makes you animated. Banner Sports Medicine is here to help. It's another banner day.
Mysterio's team is hidden in the background throughout the movie, manipulating all events, and 7 years later, we found another sighting of them that no one has done before. It will terrify you. I'm Avery Foster, the Research Channel, and this is a breakdown of 2019 Spider-Man Far From Home, the second of our 3 MCU Spider-Man rewatch breakdowns ahead of Spider-Man Brand New Day later this month, as we embark upon discovering new details and Easter eggs and connections that we never noticed before. And here in Peter Parker's superhero trip in illusory battle with Mysterio, we've seriously spotted dozens more details. Dozens, bringing the full circle to at this point. And a lot of these details are going to come back in Spider-Man Brand New Day. And you know, after you see Spider-Man Brand New Day, you're all going to be in the lobby of the theater, pointing at each other and your friend group like these 3 cool balls. This Who's Who shirt design that you can grab exclusively at our merch store, nerdrive.shop. It's the best way to support what we're doing here at Stars. And you know what we're going to do? Get a shirt like this, toss it in your subword at the bottom, doing your favorite. Tap the ourselves in it and bring it back to shouting in videos. Thank you for supporting us by Spider-Man Barber Room opens in Extenco, Mexico. There's going to be a picture's logo approximates into this statue of Visionary, and nothing is what it seems in this movie. Nick Fury and Maria Hill are investigated in the by some state monster cyclone with a face that's described by the locals. There is a possibility that reads 463, a reference to Spider-Man number 4 from 1963, which was the debut of Spider-Man Flint Locker. Even that is a Easter egg for the Eli Marvel members, looking at license plates for Easter eggs that Sean trained us to do from Spider-Man Homecoming, because the monster that attacked is not Sandman, it's an elemental illusion created by Quentin Beck, which isn't even his real name in this movie. And his team of more Stark employees in close Stark Tech drones. As we see them in the scene of lies, they're actually the scroll Talos and Soren, which is actually in line here. Andy Marvel that came out earlier in this year, Captain Marvel, Nick Fury clarified that no one calls him Nick. And that is how we first spotted Talos in the movie. Spot work. Later in this movie, Maria Hill will again call him Nick. Now, yes, there are other examples in the MCU of characters calling Nick Fury when he was definitely Nick Fury by the name of Nick, but in the year 2019, this was very, very important to Marvel Studios, and specifically Spider-Man with these lines, so we have to explain it the no Nick rule. As much as Peter interacts with the Skrull version of Nick Fury during this film, I don't think he ever learned that he's dealing with Talos and not Nick Fury. That Peter the switcheroo this secret invasion theory, but Soren is killed off screen by this group known as Brandon during the Invincible film. Their names who we play by secret invasion. The secret invasion theory we can hear it next to her. You see where we learn theories named Bart. And the end game, the DNA that you're the one the during the invasion, which the case of Maria. But shit. But in the yes, but rather than all they let him be the hero. You should get the birthday. I don't see this anymore. I never leave like that. Which because Fury and Talos, they're that strength to one nation, one man, two big things. Like you that Coach Fury and the whole there was the idea being this way full of Avengers and then another different thing. resulting cameos three different characters and equals three film. You understand the old Bruce Campbell here did that in the period. But this the transition in that's what they hear then the certification of the public started thinking environment when he met with Ruby and then Margaret started on Neptune's death in Malibu. And is not worth the fact even here they are very close to the so it's actually this next week Captain America in his uniform of Captain America Winter Soldier. The public assumes at this point that Steve's dead, even though he's just an old man. So he is added to this memoriam. Though some do think that he's still alive, as Joaquin Torres mentions in the Falcon the Winter Soldier, asking Sam if he's on a secret base on the moon. We don't see this stuff that's actually addressing the UN in a very the mission. Plays 8 months after Endgame, and WandaVision happened 3 weeks after Endgame. Vision is even worse. And then he brings again by Wanda when her with the Vision, but if they know that White Vision, we're going to Netflix somewhere, and that Vision was referring to it as the bullet. The official nomenclature that the MCU will use from here on out. In the 5 years after Dennis during the delivery camp, we see the moments of marching band undusted and smacks into the basketball team playing that same court. I love it. Basketball gets passed into the tuba and skews the notes. We read this as one undusted in the MCU. Like tragedy, but here is the company at once that fully Peter with the bandry hard. In case of what's not involved in these events. Although, Peter did get tested when he was as opposed to him actually attending that marching band concert. We see Peter spoiled for this film. Brad Davis turned into a very much man during this blip period. There is a moment in the songs that intentionally a kind of love Betty's line fail.
To a new phase of our lives.
Yes, a new phase, one of a few nods to Marvel now, moving on to phase 4. Is the last film of phase 3 in the MCU, a kind of epilogue to the appendix of the definitively started ending. Continuity of the nomenclature with Kevin Feige eventually referring to phases 4 and 6 at the multiverse. While Marvel deals with the fake multiverse, it's a great transition into the MCU that will be full of multiple universes. Once Peter and Ned's tribute parts, like the murals that we see throughout the movie. This movie is really a feud over Tony Stark's legacy. Does it go to the beneficiary that he chose? Choose smart adults who work their hands off to earn it in their office. And Jay remind Peter and to get a VPN so the government can't track them overseas. Why is it looking down Peter? And Jay knows the print of an 18 that all Peter required Renee agree, foreshadowing the theory of delusion throughout the film. Deleted theme were made into one shot on the part of the Blu-ray called Peter's To-Do List. This on Peter accomplishing better before his trip. This included picking up a burger and a jewel headphone adapter from Delmar's to the local bodega in Queens, where we get to see Delmar and Captain Murphy again. Peter stuffed his He-Man figures for some cash in the pocket of Black Dahlia necklace. Then 11 minutes later in the movie, Andy can move Sharon from a star suit to help pick up her for and a football of alliteration. And actually, on this during his revealed his birthday on August 10, 2001, and August 10th is the day that the Amazing Fantasy number 15 first came out. That was the first time appearing of Spider-Man. And Peter with Walmart with that 11 had been leading many other movies that Peter is that Peter's parent died in 9/11, and it's like Peter particularly afraid of the club who watched the monument and homecoming, and very, very sad. So this removed sequence, we see Peter suit would be the turn of the very this action sequence is awesome. I really love that they removed it from the film. Then the series into the Foundation Army and those replaced by Blip and it's experience being blipped, which is he mentioned the blip beard that he grew, meaning that he was not blipped and in Spider-Man No Way. And they will be doing a more company accurate speech instead of the Foundation Army. Having shifted from Stark Industries into this like Pepper Pot, suggesting that the company is still active, just run by CEO Pepper, has escaped from the turnover in leadership of the year. But all visible in the location of the wrestling poster listing Chris Hogan, the wrestler that Peter had been the comic and Bones the original version of the character playing a bunch of veterans. That's one of the few interesting between the MCU and the Randy Brooks, which of course leads up to Toby Maguire appearing in the MCU with Spider-Man No Way Home. One of the fans of Peter coming out of Florida, the thing with the news that the stock photo of him and Homecoming. Peter's phone screen is correct again, not everybody is the end of Homecoming, but it's just some of the what's in him. His case is labeled BFP belonging to an Uncle Ben Franklin Parker. Hopefully, Spider-Man Brady Jake will finally get insight into what happened to Uncle Ben. It wasn't Hamilton, it would have been some actor, of course, the Ricker brothers and finance some accidents. Maybe that Dave seems killed in London in 2011, but he just had a heart attack from the experiment. Peter wearing the same X-Man show shirt that he wore in Homecoming and when he was changing into it was the party, he still has the sign, and my piece of the mannequin up on the wall. It's the recovery from the trauma of fencing his death scene in Avengers Infinity War. Peter's really flying blind, especially vulnerable to the deeper theme of Far From Home, the danger of misperception. And May Hudson with this shame, forcing Peter to carry that shame with him to Europe. Peter's sense slowly returns to it, and it's rainy days. He goes through his mutation or spider puberty, and it seems like his senses might be even more enhanced. He is mutated. Peter takes over his life, which shows me that the thing on is connected to the love that he would always correct through, including this generator device that he desires fires to charge. The little detail have features it seems to be at the fire hazard. And once Peter had taken his fire suit with him on a trip, then she had that tingle about it. She knows that was great. There was also great responsibility. She is brave though. He will lead it. Honestly, and then at Barton Star return Mr. Harrington and his chaperone in the science strip, along with fellow teacher Mr. Dell, played by James Booth. Mr. Harrington, the Peter like that his wife pretended to die during a blip and ran away from the packing room, and that he even had a funeral and Janet the thing. And then Betty leaves there some Peter and like captions include the funny Easter egg. This directed by Paul Greengrass, projecting a Captain Phillips 1993 style take on the events of Infinity War in an actor directed Paul Greengrass. And the point which is over to the 93 in the MCU in the third position.
Focus. Things like that, right? So I feel like that's part of the reason for my extra involvement.